Hello, hello, hi, hi, welcome, welcome. What do you mean cat will never be productive? I had a very productive day yesterday, alright? And today. I finished the model. I finished James's model. I made a whole bunch of emotes for him. I actually did a full model art and rigging same day. And then I flatlined feeling super tired. So yeah, today was a little bit restful. I was just polishing up some stuff, but yeah, it's productive before that. How are you doing, Odie? I am doing good. I like I said, uncharacteristically productive yesterday. So when I woke up today, I kind of just had slug energy. I think it was the coffee, you know. I I try to shy away from it, maybe take a few sips rather than, consume like a good chunk. But yesterday, I was feeling super tired and very sluggish. So what did I do? I just took the full 1 liter bottle of coffee, chugged the whole thing, and sprinted through a ton of work. But how's everything with you guys? What have you been up to? Brandon Sanderson has a new book out, so Kay, I need you to finish Stormlight Archive so then you can move to Mistborn. Once you're caught up with all of that, you start touching onto the novellas, and then yeah, chop chop. Can someone knock me out for a while, please? Do you want to take a nap? What is your goal here? Just double checking all the apps are open. Yeah, because last stream I accidentally closed the stream avatars and didn't realize you guys weren't on screen for like a while. Okay, we are continuing with Hot Shack's model. Busy with the gym and overthinking about my crush. Thinking is overrated. Take it from me. Hi, Hot Shack. Oh yeah, we're working on yours. We started last time. Wait, you're here. Perfect. I have a question to ask. I was supposed to ask you earlier. The eyes. Do you like it the way it is currently, with the pupils, wide eye, or do you want something that's more solid color with shine? Thoughts? Because I could like keep the design exactly the way it is if you want, or I can modify it just as easily. Completely up to you. I thought I'd offer. You know what? Don't know how it look like on you, not gonna lie. Okay, let's see if we can do this super quick. Let us try and speed run this. You know what? To save time, I'll just yoink the highlights from the other models. 1 second. I'm forgetting where everything is. Okay. Mm, let's try the sheep one. I have that bottom bump to look less basic. Oh, usually, the little bump. That's for when the eye smiles. Like, look, take a look at my eye. Like, wait, does this model not have it? No, this model doesn't do it. Um, hold on. Let me bring up another model that has it. I'll show you what I mean. Can I use James's model? You see the eye? Wait, can I zoom this more? Yeah, you see the eye? It's like this. Then this is it normal. This is it smiling, you know? So that bump, I can do it in the rigging. It gives it like a lot more life. Otherwise, the model will just like constantly be smiling. I mean, I think, hmm. How expressive do you want it to be? Or would you prefer just like a very simple thing? Up to you, up to you. I don't know how complicated it can be, not gonna lie. Okay. There is no limit to the complexity that I can do, which is a good and bad thing. Imagine something like that. Black eyes are scary. Hmm. You may have a point. We can stick to the old one. Up to you. I've opted for PNG Plus because you don't move much yourself. Yeah, I have that bad habit as well. Yeah, the old one fits more. Boop. This model is just miserable. I don't think so. He's an adorable little octopus. He has all of the assets here. These are all of them at once. And there's the cane over here. So there could be a bubble on the iris. Ah. I mean, you are the miserable one? Oh. Yeah, the cane is it's not in the asset file over here because these ones are all on top of the model, whereas the cane is between layers, so it's kind of sandwiched over here. So yeah, these are all of them. Okay, we'll put some highlights on the pupil. Mm, but if you want to add anything to it, feel free. Ah, okay, okay. No worries. Because, I have fun making the models first and foremost. So anything that's extra, don't worry about it. And I'm not a miserable cat. If anything, I am a ray of sunshine. Toggle wise, I don't think I've caught much of your. Have you been streaming lately? I don't think I've seen you live in like a while. Out of curiosity, because if there's any bits that you do, or any inside memes, feel free to ask, you know? Hmm, there we are. Something feels slightly off about it. There. I did finish a full mascot model, art and rigging in one day, and I was just thinking, if I keep this rate up, just full model, full art, full rigging, full showcase, full everything in a single day, I'm like, I could probably clear my 6 month queue in like a month. I was like, that would be awesome. I don't think I will ever survive working at that rate because this is a commission that I kind of squeezed in between a few of them because it was a rush order and like, I like money and I could dedicate a full day to it. So yeah. Hi Goldie, welcome on in. How's your day been? It has been great. I was recovering from being very productive yesterday. No one here believes me. You know what? Hold on. I'm just gonna bring up the model. You're all haters. I need you to know that. Crap, I forgot to copy the settings. Never mind. I'll show this off later. Oh no, wait. Here it is. I can copy them just now. Because I was fixing some stuff. Ta-da! I made this yesterday. I believe you already. Thank you. The rest of the haters, they know themselves. I will remember this. I've memorized their names and faces. When the world is in ashes and I stand atop that mountain, I will remember them. This one have toggles. Yeah, this one has angry. It has scared and evil. So yeah, I can be productive when I have to. Hi, Diamond Fangirl. Welcome, welcome. I have not turned into I think this is a dolphin. Yeah, I think it's a dolphin. I've not turned to a dolphin. I was just showing people work. I will stay mostly lurking here, can barely move my arms. Well, thanks for listening. Why is someone a brick? That is a good question. I can't remember. I think it was a one-time gag just to change like the model into a brick, and then we just never changed it back. So yeah, it's now one of the it's now one of the outfits that you can choose. You know, if you scroll down, you'll see the little streaming avatars window. If you have your little thing set up down here, you can change your avatar. What are the options? Let me see. Hold on. Because I forgot. Okay, we have a sandwich, the generic Ordicultist, and brick. Now, the reason there is a sandwich is because someone once said, just like as a joke, they're like, make me a sandwich, right? And I just plugged in a random PNG of a sandwich into the software. And then the next time they asked it, I'm like, okay, here you go. Snap of the fingers, they turned into a sandwich. I think this is the one. Will mine update? I don't know how to update it. I tried clicking on it. Oh, wait, it did work. There I am. Okay, I'm behind the brick. Hold on. Yeah, so you can turn yourself into a sandwich. The more you know. Okay, I need to be back to myself. There we are. But yeah, there's a lot of silly things just laying around on Twitch here. I think there's the model stuff. We have a bunch of the GIF redeems, which I keep forgetting about. Okay, what did I miss? Uh, does the star work? Do you mean for the highlight? I think I'm too used to making them very cutesy. Perhaps you can try remove it. And there we are. Is it a bad thing making it look cutesy? It's all a matter of taste. Like, for example, my model, I went for cutesy vibe. Mm, but the others might want to go for what's it called? Others might want to go for how do you call it? More more attractive, more lewd style. Others may be more dark and sinister or serious, you know? Oh, more nerdy. Okay. Should we add like the nerd toggle? Because I have one. You know what? This model, sorry, this toggle is very accurate. Because I was hanging out in Feather's chat earlier today, and one of his community members was like, "Hey, Odi, I popped into your stream the other day, and I saw it just had a chart filled with UV words and numbers and graphs, and they immediately bailed, and that made me laugh." Uh, so yeah, I didn't realize we may be a bit too nerdy here. In fact, there's no such thing. Hmm. I think that's okay. I always make the bad habit of like looking at it like this, but yeah. Can you try a bit flatter? Do you mean like the eyes or the highlights? The highlights? Ah, okay. What do you mean by flatter? Do you mean like that? Or the other way? Up or down? A bit down? Like that? Just like to not have them empty. Hmm. Do you mean like that? Oh, okay, okay. It's very nice having real-time feedback. The bump was to not have them have sort of dead eyes. Hmm. Because I was thinking I could make it, how would you say this? The words are failing me. As part of the rigging, so that when you smile while using the model, then it like the eyes move a bit more. But if you're maybe a little less interested in, how do you say this, the dynamic movement and piloting of the model, I could make it a bit more static if you want. Like, for example, mine is very, very simple. Hi, Chicken Nugget. Welcome, welcome. We're making Hot Shack's model. This is his PNG Plus. I don't mind the activity. Understandable. Yeah, because again, there's like very different layers of intricacy. For example, like mine, the one here is a very simple model. Like you see, just happy, frowning, right? But if you look at James's model, there's like look at the eyebrows here. There's up and there's down. You know, but hold on. You know what? I'm gonna use uh James's model to show off everything at this point. Yeah, like for example, James's model, things like even the middle twitch of the eyebrow is rigged independently. You see, wait, you see that little curve? That's the level of intricacy for face tracking, So yeah, that's like the difference between like a simpler model and one that's like very, very intricately rigged. So it's the same with the mouth. There's a whole bunch of movements like you can be smug, you can move the jaw, all that stuff, right? So if you feel like you're not the kind who would want to do that, that's okay. So I don't think you have a jaw to rig. I need a hotkey to just switch between models. You know what? I want to make a full body model for myself. Yeah. Working on James's model has inspired me. I want a big one. I want it to be super intricate, and I'm thinking I might actually sit down and make a proper outfit. And the lore would be, oh, these are just my pajamas. My actual clothes are underneath them. You know? Hmm. I should probably name these before I forget. Could make the eyes more reactive. Oh yeah. Like it could be Yeah, that's what I mean. If you smile, then the eyes do the whole squishy, happy thing, you know? Oh, wait, my bottle does have that. But I think only if my eyes are closed. I think I can't tell because I can't see it when my eyes are closed. You know what? I not to say that the dense allegations are true, but one time I wanted to see what the model would look like with the eyes closed, so I just stared at it like this, and a second later I realized that I'm an idiot. So yeah, imagine trying to look at the model like this, and I realized I can't see it because my eyes are closed. We all have our moments. Yeah, I did that for actually. It's not, I did. It's not even a one-off thing. I did that once, live duty rigging. I did that another time when I thought one of my eyes was swollen, right? And I was like, I can't tell if it's slightly swollen or what, because I was trying to compare it to the other eye, like like try doing that. But anyway, uh, I made the same mistake multiple times. Speaking of dense, I had some U.S. Marines beat an AI surveillance system with a cardboard box. Oh yeah, I heard about that. That was funny. Like, I think it was Metal Gear. I've never played the games, but I think you can hide in boxes like that, if I'm not mistaken. That is so dumb. Because like they programmed it to be like, okay, anything that looks like a human being or camouflaged, right? And the model was very hyper specifically looking for things that look like humans to the point that moving box didn't register to it. So yeah, we're safe from Terminator for now. But yeah, I did see a lot of I was watching some documentaries about AI, Ryan. Apparently, a lot of companies that rush to fire their workers to replace them with AI a little bit regretful because it wasn't all it was cracked out to be. Can't wait Terminator being 1,000 years sooner than we thought. It actually wasn't in. Okay, this is a movie that was made in like the 80s, right? So their idea of the quote unquote future was like 2020. You know what? Let's Google this. Um, Terminator War time timeline. Let's see if there's an image for this. Okay, here we are. All the important part to notice is we. Sorry, red is confusing because it's already there. This is the whole war and everything, right? We already here, and there's no Terminators. So if, in fact, if anything, it's later than we thought. I think Judgment Day was 1996. Oh yeah, that's like the day the bombs went off. I was curious about when. What's it called? I was curious about when they were actually fighting the robots. Where did you grab this? I literally just went to Google and typed Terminator War timeline and then clicked images. Then yeah, when I pull up images and dump them on stream, those are things I just search and grab in real time. I don't like have them saved. So I don't have them saved anywhere or anything like that. I don't prep for streams. I show up with art in the background, and then whatever we start talking about that day, yeah. In fact, I was called out for this earlier today, right? Because I was hanging out in Feathers chat, right? Again, it was Maxi. They were like They popped into the stream for like a few seconds, saw the chart and all the graphs about UV rays and sun damage, all that stuff. And then they immediately bailed because it went over their head, right? And they're like, what the hell was going on in your stream, right? And that's where I had to go. I am an artist who runs art streams, but we talk about literally anything except art. I think the war finished up in the late 2020s, but it started much earlier. Oh, yeah. I was curious about like when they start to go back in time, because that's like the height of the war when humans are losing. To be fair, I don't think most of us should be too worried about like surviving the apocalypse and that stuff. Because truth be told, we're probably just gonna die in the beginning and not have to worry about it. You know, at least when I was living in like my home country, or would Malaysia even be an interest to the robots, or is it just like some? You know, let me not say that. People in Malaysia are very very patriotic. I would get stones thrown at me if I start questioning whether it's a first world country or not. But anyway, when back in my home country, it was so out of the way and so irrelevant to like the world politics and all that stuff, to the point that if there was like nuclear war and stuff, I don't think anyone would ever be targeting us. Truth be told. So yeah, it's an interesting graph. Yeah, it's basically just the movie, right? So I think this is Terminator 1. This is the timeline where a robot comes back, they start doing all of that stuff. Yeah. If you've not watched okay, if you've watched the Terminator movies, these will kind of make sense to you. I've not watched them all. Well, with the nukes, you don't exactly need to target true, but if you're like super far away, you'd only need to handle like the ambient radiation going up. So, sure, I may die of cancer in like the next 30 years, but immediate fireball, I should be okay. I did see some projections about like if nuclear war happened. Like for example, even if there was nuclear war in like Europe or Asia, right? The amount of smoke and radioactive fallout will just be carried across the entire planet. So yeah, there's no escaping that. I've never seen any of them. That's a shame. They are pretty good. I don't know about the later ones. The first few ones are pretty solid. I like them. I always say thank you to ChatGPT. Do you know that each time you give it a command or a prompt, it basically uses up the equivalent of a full bottle of water? So it is very damaging to the environment. The first two are really good. They go downhill from there. Yeah. Usually that's the case with a lot of movie franchises. They usually make it like as a one-off thing with the potential of a sequel. But then as they do really well, there's this pressure to make more and more and more until, you know, they're just like scrambling for ideas at that point. Because I think the first one was going after the kid, right? The second one, if I remember, I think is like the mother, Sarah. I've not watched them in ages. The last one, they reboot the series by killing John Carter as a kid. Yeah, because now that they've completely thrown out the timeline and everything has changed, they can just, you know, do whatever they want now. They know they don't need to think about canon. It's a bit strange to do that in a series, according to, you know, in my opinion. Hi, Gamer Dragon. Welcome, welcome. Talk about Terminator. I really don't like it when they do that in movies, because what they essentially say is like, hey, everything that you know and loved before, completely useless, just scrapped and thrown in the garbage. You don't need to know any of this, right? I don't like that trope. It's the same energy as, and then he woke up and it was all a dream, you know? It's a crappy cop out. But that is just my personal opinion. Speaking of old shows, is anyone here old enough to remember Metalocalypse? Hold on. Because I was listening to their soundtrack earlier. I was like, I missed that show. Never heard of it? Hold on. It's a very old cartoon. But it's one of those like adult cartoons, you know? Like, hey, it's not that old. I'm conflicted between Googling it or letting us, sit with our delusion. Okay, you know what? Metalocalypse release date. This was August 6th, 2006. That is almost 20 years ago. I used to walk that at work when I worked third shift. I only ever watched it like way, way, way later. Like it was a bit before my time. But yeah, 2006. This was around the time. What was important in 2006? Important events. Put it this way, when this thing aired, Pluto was still considered a planet. Google had just acquired YouTube, and Saddam Hussein was still alive. So, look, we're all old. It's okay. It's fine. It happens. Usually, that's my way of judging how much time has passed. Like when I see like the year, I'm like, that wasn't too long ago. This is an all right cover. It is a really dumb. Okay, is it the best show? No. Does it have a very good coherent plot? Not at all. Is it stupid in a funny way? Yes. And you guys have seen my taste in movies, right? The Naked Gun series I keep yapping about. If you've never seen it, just think the scary movie franchises. That kind of level of stupidity. Yeah, that it's kind of like that kind of humor. The music is some of the best part. Ooh, I have all of their albums on Spotify. So whenever I need to like just psych myself up, I just like start listening to that playlist. Hmm. I don't think I can play any of their music. I think it's copyrighted. I do want to figure out how to. It's fine if I stream copyrighted music. It's not fine to have it on the VOD. So YouTube is fine because I manually upload the stuff there and the background music is separated. But on Twitch, yeah, on Twitch it's still uploaded with the background music. So yeah, I did get a couple warnings when I was streaming Peak, right? I was playing a bunch of copyrighted music which are all mountain and hiking themed. Yeah, I got like I got that little warning. Have to use the enhanced stream feature and have the copyright music secondary track. Yeah, I have that, but I have that only on the recorded VOD. So the recording doesn't have the BGM. It's like turned off. So that way when I upload it to YouTube, it's all good. But on Twitch, I might have to manually upload it. I did see in OBS, they do have settings where you can remove the secondary tracks for the VOD, but that requires playing around with it, and I'm always scared to touch OBS because the moment something breaks, I wouldn't know until I have to stream, and then yeah, I know it's possible. I just and you have to modify the stream to use enhance. Yeah, I did see it like in the settings for OBS. I think it's stream. I think it's output. It's some way here, right? Audio. Yeah, there is. I remember seeing this like a long while ago, but I was not brave enough to touch it. Should be done with both OBS and Twitch, if I remember correctly. Oh, I didn't know about the Twitch part. Yeah, I'm a bit cowardly when it comes to experimenting with OBS, because if everything else breaks, but OBS is fine, I can continue to stream. Like, for example, if my model is gone, I have a PNG tuber of myself here, just PNG. And like a whole bunch of other stuff. If Spotify doesn't work, I have an offline playlist, you know. So I have like contingencies for everything except OBS. And I realized that I may be a bit of an anxious and panicky cat. So yeah, I overplan things. With the enhanced stream, you can also stream in 2K. Oh, I realized that I have just very basic monitors because we were talking about yeah, I think it was Sella. He was talking about getting like a second monitor. He's like, oh, I went around asking family members, and then I got a free monitor, but it's only 1080p. Then I'm like, I look at mine, I googled like the specs. I'm like, my quote unquote nice monitor is 1080p, and my second one is 720. I guess my standards are lower. I was thinking that what's it called? I want to probably get a higher resolution monitor simply because I want to be able to record at higher quality. Like, for example, I was working on this showcase video for your model actually. And what I've seen other people do with showcases is they have like the model reacting and moving, all that stuff, but half the screen has the full body and the other half has it kind of zoomed up, but it's the exact same movements. Now, I couldn't do that because if I zoom it out, record it, if I try to zoom it in to like focus on the face or like on the sides, then it gets pixelated because the resolution is low. So I'm like, this is an excuse to invest in a higher resolution monitor. But it's okay. I'll save up for one. I've been meaning to get a second one, mostly just to use on my like other PC. But instead of getting like a crappy cheap one for the other PC, I might invest in a really nice one. And then my cheapest monitor gets, demoted to second PC status. So yeah, that's a thought that I had today. But yeah, do you know how I realized in real time how much I panic and overplan things? It was actually when I was describing the UV chart. Hold on, let me see if I can find the same chart. Hold on. I think this is the chart. Is it? Yeah, here we are. While I was explaining this chart, right? I was talking about like how dangerous it is to go out. Then I realized, oh, that's only for really high UV index. And I never go out unless it's like, this is where I go out. Anything above this, I don't leave the house. And when I go out like this, even if it's, super low UV index, right? Super low, very cloudy. I can basically go out for 2 hours in the sun. Nothing happens, right? I still wear an umbrella. I still wear a thick layer of sunblock and have my sunglasses. And I realized midstream that, you know what? Maybe I overdo it. The math doesn't lie. So yeah. Hi, Mr. Lego. welcome, welcome. We're talking about the dangers of UV radiation. We covered this last stream. So I was talking about how I may actually have a bit of a paranoia about sun damage. So yeah, it's always good to be self-aware, you know. So today, when I went out shopping, I was only out for 20 minutes. The UV index was 2, right? And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna exposure therapy time. I'm not gonna take my umbrella. It was a very cloudy day. But yeah, see, baby steps, progress. But yeah, I do want to play around with OBS's settings. Mm, am I even allowed to stream in 2K? I thought that was reserved for maybe like partner. Something to consider. Also, we forgot about the model. Oopsie. Okay, and hair. The UV here is just below extreme. Ah. Do you want to tell us what it is? Also, if you don't have to. I ask out of curiosity. Some people here are very open about like where they live and like the country and stuff. But I, for example, don't like it. So I keep that to myself. Like I mentioned, I live in the UK, but like not where I'm from. 10? Oh, damn. Yeah, that's very similar to my home country. Yeah, USA, Arizona. Ooh, that is rough. Like here, I was talking about when it's above 2, I don't want to even go outside. 10. Honestly, I don't know how I survived in my home country. I think it was just ignorance. Yeah, it's always good to be careful. It's not like a you go okay, sunburn, getting sunburned, not the worst thing, right? Sure, your skin gets sensitive, blah blah blah. The real kicker is long-term damage, your skin ages, you get like the little spots for sun damage, your risk of skin cancer skyrockets as you get older. Like my grandfather, he spent basically his whole life outside in the tropical sun, and I think he spent like the last 3 decades of his life just like fighting skin cancer. Like each time he'd have to get like surgery, and what's it called, they'd have to like remove it, and then another patch of skin crops up again. Remove it, another patch of skin, because like the whole skin is cooked, right? So be very careful. Your future self will thank you. And even if you don't care about health and all that stuff, it also keeps you looking very young. I get ID checked all the time. So yeah, I look way my skin is very, very crisp, very fresh, simply because I fear the sun like a vampire. So yeah, thanks for the follow. Also, you don't have to be extreme like me. Um, I may overdo it, but there is balance. Oh yeah, I just remembered the reason we brought up that chart is because I was talking about like, oh yeah, sun UV damage bad, and someone brought up that, oh, their parent says that the sun is good for you. So that's why I brought up the chart, and I was like, okay, this can show you exactly at what point. Yeah, K. This one can show you exactly at what point it's good for you and at what point it stops being good for you. And based on UV index and like the time, apparently this was too much math and charts and science for Feather's community. They hissed and ran. I want to tell that to him next time. Because I find that funny. Ooh, I don't know if any of you know the YouTube channel Cold Fusion. They do like a lot of documentary style videos on a lot of topics. I find them really informative. It was yeah, it was really nice. Just cruising through looking for an artist that can help me with my emotes. Ah, okay. I have done emotes in the past, but I don't really do them. Yeah, you do I know anyone who does emotes? Sorry, I can't I don't have any references for you. But yeah, thanks for stopping by. What, sorry, I'm assuming you're leaving. Heard about it? It's actually a really good channel. Like I was stickers. You mean like the Twitch emotes? Nope. Oh, okay, okay, sorry. But yeah, I've been experimenting with them. I made a few. Like these are mine, right? Um a few of them are just like very basic ones, still images, but like the Ordi wave one here, like in the chat. That one I was experimenting with live 2D animation. It's like the same software that I use for rigging, but instead of live tracking, it's an animation. And then the high one, which honestly one of my favorites, the one where it's just still with the golden hand back and forth. That one I was experimenting with frame by frame animation, and yeah, that was the result. Other than that, I get lazy and I just take random images and I just stick my hair on them. Wait, hold on. I think yeah. Like these ones, I just take random memes, I put my model's hair on them, and I call it a day. So far, okay, I don't think I can use them forever. Uh, I don't know how happy Twitch will be with it. They are memes, so they are public domain. So I shouldn't be. It shouldn't bring any issue. And besides, I'm not. I'm not large enough for them to pay attention. So yeah, maybe one day when I have time, I'll start making proper ones. God, I need time. It's okay. I okay, maybe not tomorrow. Day after tomorrow, I don't have stream. I will chug another 1 liter of coffee and try do 1 day 1 model challenge and see if I can comb through. Sorry, get through most of my commission queues, and then I'll have time to work on my own stuff. Because now I want a lot of things. I want more of my own emotes. I want I want a full body model for myself. I want to design a new outfit for myself. Mm, yeah. So much to do, not enough time in the day. And I don't want to be like one of my friends. She solves this problem by not sleeping. She's like, if I don't sleep, right, then I have more time in the day to get shit done. Yeah. Not the healthiest friend that I have. I won't be here tomorrow. Got a marathon night at cinema. 12 hours of Lord of the Rings director's cut. 12 hours is crazy. But yeah, understandable. That does sound like fun. I have vague memories of watching The Lord of the Rings, but I can't remember if I watched the whole thing or just like a couple movies. Nope, I watched all of them, yeah. But I think I watched them like very far in between. Like my knowledge of Lord of the Rings is very scattered. Starts at wait, sorry, it ends at oh wait, it starts at 9, like at night, and then ends in the morning. Okay, that is crazy. Personally, I'm very much in love with sleeping and napping. I'm one of those. Do you ever see like those memes of oh, when you reach this age, all you want to do is go to bed at 9 p.m. Anything that's too loud, not interested. Yeah, that's like my life right now. I was on one marathon like that, but it was for Ghibli movies. I don't think I've ever watched a Ghibli movie, and no reason other than I just never encountered one growing up. Ow, are you done? As I was saying, that says nothing about the movies. It's just pure chance, and I think growing up in my ow, growing up in my home country, things like anime weren't really a thing. How many bricks do you have? But yeah, hey, you you done? You can't blame me for growing up where I did. You know, maybe one day, right? Maybe one day I'll just have a marathon. I'll watch them all. I did see some videos talking about them. Oh, we have ads. Yeah, I saw some videos talking about them, but never seen them myself. So I have to share some of the pain I feel. Understandable. There are a few on Netflix. I might bum my brother's account again. Honestly, the release stress one is one of my favorite gifts. Like, it's a very okay. I don't think it's that. Okay, it's kind of old because I remember sending this to friends like back in the day. I really love it. So when I was looking at gift redeems to have, I'm like, yeah, this is a must have. Because my muscles ache because of gym. Understandable. I was hoping it is that one. It is a classic. I'm actually looking for more. But at the same time, I don't know if I want to fill up the redeem thing. Mm, maybe I'll swap out a couple. We shall see. I love messing around and adding dumb things like that to the channel. It's super fun. That's one of my hobbies. Like days where I haven't had this recently, but days where I'm like, oh, I need to just like relax. I shouldn't do artwork. I shouldn't do commission work. But I always feel like I need to be working. So I'm like, okay, this is relaxing and doing something fun, but at the same time, like I'm doing something productive, but it doesn't use brain power. It's easy, it's light, and I don't get the feeling of I'm not doing anything, I'm wasting my time. So yeah. I'm like that when it comes with to like the little adoptable models, the ones you see at the bottom left. Well, behind the capitalism noises thing. Yeah. Like I'd feel tired and I don't want to do commission work. So what I do is I'd start designing other models just for fun. Yeah. It's a crazy artist thing where they need to take a break from doing commission art. So what they do during their break is they simply take a break and do fun art, fan art, maybe art of their friends. It's still art, but at the same time, I guess there's like no pressure. Like the difference between commission art and art for fun is if art for fun, you could just like decide, I don't want to continue this, I don't want to finish it. Or there's like no expectations. It's just you're doing it purely for fun. I guess like that's why people can take a break from commission art and do fan art or personal art for fun. The brain is weird. That's all I'll say. The tongue blends too much. You should change it. I wonder if Hot Shack is still here. What are your thoughts on a purple tongue? Or I could make it lighter. There we are. What were we talking about? I forgot. Oh right, I brought up the Cold Fusion channel. I really like it because it's relevant topics, engaging, well researched, and you know they have a nice voice. It ticks all of the boxes. I like very what's it called? I like educational stuff. I like stuff that are relevant to the world, that are in recent times that, it gives me it lets me put my finger on the pulse of the world to quote one of my old bosses, right? So in keeping up to like the world and all because before I do like educational stuff. It's like the news but not propaganda, that's basically it, you know so yeah, I saw a lot of it being about AI and Gen Z being cooked. Yeah, I think I'm just in a very fortunate position where I can make my living as an artist quite comfortably, because a lot of the stuff like I would see in the videos is there are people working like full-time jobs, crazy hours, two jobs sometimes, right? And they still like barely make ends meet. I'm thinking I'm in a unique position where my living expenses are very low, even though my income isn't that high, because art is not a very high paying job. But at the same time, I have zero commute costs. I live in a very cheap place. Mm, I'm a very frugal person, very non-materialistic. So yeah, I'm very content not buying things. Right? So long as I buy the occasional snack and spoil my cats, like I am good. So I'm like, I'm in a position where, how would you say this? You know what? Let me draw this out. I love charts, right? Say you're making like this is your income. Oops. Say you make a good chunk of money, all right? But you have commuting costs, right? This is commute. Oh, you don't have, you work long hours, so okay, you know what commute is. I was looking at train prices. Commute is really high. This is your commuting costs, right? Oh, sorry. This is your rent. This is your commuting costs. You work crazy hours. You don't have energy to cook, so you're always eating out. What else? Mm, what do humans spend money on? I don't know. Let's say you meet very rich clients, so you have to spend like a lot on your wardrobe. Always look very fancy. At the end of the day, this is the money you take home. Whereas I, as artist, oops, say I, as artist, I don't make that much, but at the same time, I live in a place where rent is cheap. I don't commute. I don't need to buy food outside. I cook at home. Occasionally buy a few treats. This is the money I take home. Are you noticing a pattern here? Let's make this purple because I like purple. The end result is the same, except I work very good hours and I work doing what I love. Long term, is it sustainable? I don't think so. But in the short term, while the world is cooked and everyone is, miserable, like I can kind of just ride it out a little bit comfortably. So yeah, it's mostly just me weathering the storm. Besides, to this day, I still sometimes think about my old workplace and I was like, damn, I should have left sooner. That was a tough place. I wonder how things are going with them. You know what? I need to hit up one of my old coworkers, see how they're doing. But yeah, very important to look at workplace red flags. I always bring this up. Maybe I'm just a salty cat. I wonder if you guys have ever had I don't know how old slash young people are here. I know some lean on the younger side, but also maybe some on the older. I don't know. I'm guessing here. The only thing I can judge it is based on mannerisms and some of like the stories people tell. But yeah, if you've ever worked before and had like a shitty workplace, what are some of the red flags? I'm genuinely curious. Well, we forget the model. Quarterly layoffs? Oh. How does that work? Let me Google this. Quarterly layoffs. I've never heard that one before. Quarterly layoff refers to layoffs that are announced or occur every 3 months. A practice has become more common for some HR leaders driven by financial difficulty, market shifts that need to. Ah, okay, okay. So they're focused on making the numbers look nice. Hmm. Yeah, I can see why that's like a red flag because now the human resources part of the humans as a resource become very expendable. Hmm. Reserve stock units versus cash for bonuses. Reserve stock units are the ones that you own a part of the company, if I remember correctly. Let me double check. I love Google. I would have not survived 20 years ago. No way, there was the internet 20 years ago. Okay, hold on. Reserve stock units. Oh, sorry, reserve stock units. Reserve stock units or restricted stock units are a form of employee compensation that promises a grant of company stock or its cash equivalent at the future date. Mm. Okay, okay. Yeah, that's basically this is not money, but this is company dollars. So trust us, it'll be worth something in the future. I lost 30K in RSUs because I got laid off. My condolences. That's rough. Yeah. I think the most important thing I learned about working is not to trust anyone. Like, if it's even the slightest bit convenient to your employers, they will pull the rug from under you. So yeah, that is rough. 30K. So how does that work? They only give it to you after a certain date and you lose it if you get fired? Ah, okay. That's terrible. I see what you mean by that's a definite red flag. That's what I've never heard of before. So yeah, I like learning. Thanks for that. And just earlier today, um, stock vest over the years. So if you leave, oh, okay, okay, okay. Yeah, I understand how they work now. Yeah, I was a bit confused by what that meant. I was trying to read up on it here. Okay, so that's basically they use the word incentivize here. But reality is that like you have to stay or you don't or we don't give you money. And that's kind of garbage. I think yeah, I never had anything that crazy happen to me. Mostly because when I was working for like a small company. It was a startup, right? And the people who were running it were tech people. They didn't have the slightest clue how to run a business, right? They they were surviving off of vibes, right? And it was insane to the point that I saw how they were handling like my visa and my tax documents, and I was like, yeah, I think I lost about a thousand US dollars in unreturned taxes because they botched my paperwork. But that's about it. Like I could live with that. Like from day one, I was never expecting to see that money because I realized yeah, I was a bit surprised that there was a chance. Yeah, I was surprised I was a bit surprised like later on to see like, oh, there was a chance I could get this back. And then I realized, oh, that chance died when I was leaving and they were botching the paperwork left, right, and center. Like for example, like my tax, they're supposed to be deducting money for I think like my insurance or something. Oh, sorry, it was pension, right? Pension. Mm, so when they gave me like my official okay, when they gave me my official tax stuff, do you know what was underneath my ID number? Because they were deducting it like every single month, saying like, okay, this has been deducted and paid to your pension thing. But if when I got like my final tax number, sorry, my final tax documents to get like the tax refund, do you know what the crazy thing was? When you see it's like, okay, this is your pension ID number, right? It is basically that's what they wrote on the form. So either I am the first ever person to ever file my taxes in the country of Malaysia, or someone messed up somewhere, right? Now, I'm the kind of person who I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. I love the saying that it goes, don't attribute malice to what can easily be explained by incompetence, right? So that's a very fancy way of saying sometimes people are not evil, they're just stupid. So I'm thinking either they were incompetent and they botched the paperwork and a real ID exists, but they didn't put it in the official forms, or B, they only pretended to be paying the pension thing and there is no ID number and all of that money went into someone else's pocket, likely the company's. So I'm like, I don't know which it is, and I don't care enough. Sure, $1,000 is a good chunk of money, but it is not enough for me to want to ever speak to them again. Feel like I should have been here. Something in Mr. Kush's. Yeah, we're talking about workplace red flags, and I was talking about how when they're supposed to be paying my pension in the country of Malaysia, my pension ID number was basically just all zeros on the official form. So either they weren't doing it properly, or someone was only pretending to pay that money. And yeah, my salary was just deducted for no reason. That money ended up in someone else's pocket, either someone's personally or into just back into the company. It's sus, yeah. As a result, I don't think they approved my tax returns, and I lost about $1,000 US dollars. So sucks, but hey, we move on. Oh right, I was getting if the mouth is here, what about the other acids? Because I want to copy in like the shocked eyes and the angry symbol. But yeah, I worked at this company before as what's it called? I worked at the company before as an intern as well. So when I was an intern, like I really enjoyed how they ran the company because I would only see the tech side. So when I came back to work for them like full time, I was put into the admin side and I realized, oh, this is a dumpster fire, right? And they're like, oh, we need to douse this out. And instead of grabbing water, they grab a canister of gasoline. So, that doesn't have much to it. Usually, when it comes to life to the mouths, I just have the lip, the skin, and inner mouth. And with that, in fact, look at my mouth. That's all I have to it. The rest is just rigging. Another red flag is no promotions, even when junior employees do more work. Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I have a question about the mouth. Ask away. Yeah, at that company, it's a very short corporate ladder. So the people who are doing like the most work, that company, no joke, is being held up by two people. Two. And they're already burnt out and considering leaving. The day those two leave that company, it all goes under. And I know some people always exaggerate and be like, yeah, he does everything here. One of those people does like the work of like five people, five employees, right? But the second one does the work of like four different people. So if you remove those two, you're essentially cutting down the workforce in quotes by half of that company because it's a small company, it doesn't have too many people. See the model where the mouth, instead of getting smaller horizontally, the left and right kind of get cropped instead of scaling. What do you mean? Is it like, hold on? Do you mean like the model gets cropped like that? Is that what you mean? But yeah, about that company, those people who like basically hold up the company, I feel like if there was promotions, they would get it. But literally, the only people above them are executive level employees, like CEO, COO. So yeah. Besides, there's like executive level, and then there's just engineer immediately underneath them. There's no management or stuff. They just dump all of that work on like the people there. Something like that. Rigging it like this will probably be very painful to do. If it's a very simple mouth, maybe. But I feel like I will lose a lot of flexibility, you know? It's an interesting concept, but I'm thinking of the rigging side, and yeah, that would do you mean like for example, do you want it so that it'll be like this shape, but then when it smiles, it looks like that? Something like that? Just to give it like more expression, like, oh, like this is frowning, and then this is smiling, you know, like that. Hmm. It could work, but it would break literally the lower jaw. If it was just smiling and the mouth never opens, maybe. Other than that, I'm not sure how it works. If I ever found where I saw it, I'll show you. Oh, okay, yeah, sure. Feel free to send it to me. Ooh, another red flag. This is an English one, one that I encountered here in the first world. Believe it or not, when I was discussing like potential employment at like some company, they they basically had a system where they're like, oh, you're technically they're like, oh, we just want you to understand that you are legally self-employed and being subcontracted, right? And I was like, that's very shady. Based on my limited understanding of workplace laws, is if you are not an employee, they don't have to give you employee benefits, right? So for example, if I'm an employee, I need I need vacation days, I need maybe they don't do health insurance here. Maybe dental. I don't know. I think that's a thing here, right? There's a whole bunch of stuff, you know, like paid leave, maternity leave, sick days, blah blah blah. Those are stuff that is mandatory. The government will fight you so that you give it to your employees. But if someone is being contracted and not an employee, then they don't have to do that. So what they wanted was you do employee work, but you get contractor benefits. And I was like, no, thank you. Yeah. I was very skeptical about it, but I'm like, okay, let me at least look at the contract and see what details they had to offer. But they're like, oh, you should come in, you should get that training and blah blah blah. This. And I asked for the documents, and they're like, oh, our company policy is we don't give it out before like before someone is like fully trained and already working here. So I'm like, they expect me to work there before getting like the contract for my employment. And it's not even an employment contract, right? There wasn't one, which is another major red flag. It was just like the terms of my work there. So I was like, I just wanted to know like what working there would be like, what I can expect. That those details they refused. As soon as they said no, I'm like, yeah, I don't think this is what I'm looking for. Thank you for your time. And they seemed very surprised that they were turned down. I think they were kind of new. They didn't have experience. So yeah, they basically made it sound like they were throwing a party. Like we accepted you, yay! You have the honor of serving us. So then when I realized, oh, this place is not it, I declined. They got very flustered and kind of awkward. So I was like, ooh, maybe they did look kind of young. So I was like, maybe this is the first time someone ever turned them down for like a job or something. I was like, I don't know. It felt a bit strange. So yeah, I just bailed. I was like, yeah, this is not what I'm looking for. Hope you can find whatever. And after they fumbled a bit, I'm like, okay, have a nice day. Hung up. Another one is nothing but 5-star ratings on sites like Glassdoor. Ooh. Hold on. Is this company that I worked at on Glassdoor? If so, I am review bombing them. I am a petty bitch. You guys can see my screen, right? Yeah. And let me not spell out the name. Okay. Hold on. Yeah, can't find it. Understandable. Okay. Companies. How do I search a company? Okay, here we are. Okay. God damn it. I hate all these thousand pop-ups. I hate the internet these days. Wait, it's here. Crap, they're not letting me see it. Okay, you know what? I'm being petty. I'm just making a BS. God damn it. Hold on. We're being petty. Hold on. I'm keyboard mashing so that I can just... Hold on. The links that I will go through. Okay, perfect. Hmm. There's nothing here. Ooh, are these anonymous? Because I don't want to shit talk them. You know what? I'll make a fake account. Yeah, I see them. They have the correct country and all. Hmm. Shall we be petty? You know what? It's okay. I'll do that another time. I'll be a mean evil cat later. I wish I could share this with you guys, but I think that's defamation and illegal. You know, I don't want to get sued. I can talk as much shit about them as I want, so long as you don't know who they are. It's either defamation or slander. One of them is just vocal, the other is writing it down. So it's the one where you're just talking shit about them. Yeah. They can't sue me if no one knows who they are or what they do. So, you know, I am legally protected. You know what? I don't even need to do anything. Defamation versus libel. Sorry, I was thinking slander. Been told to document your day to day. Did you know I had a log, right? I had a log that was basically on this day I did this thing, this day I did that thing. Halfway through like my employment, that log just stops. And that is, you can see literally in real time, that is the day that I gave up on the company. Yeah, it is very useful because like for example, You will do like 10 things in a week, and then someone just randomly pops up is like, so what are you working on? Your brain in that moment will not remember all of those 10 things. It wasn't an official thing. It's just I had a notepad with dates. I'm like, okay, this week I worked on this, talked to this client, this. We had this meeting, blah blah blah. All that stuff. So I just know like I'm keeping track of what I've been doing. Because like I straight up forget because I'm like, I feel like I'm not doing anything, and then I look at my log and I see I've been doing a ton of stuff. So I'm like, oh okay. So yeah, it's very useful to have save emails, have the receipts, when the log stopped logging. Yeah, the day that I stopped doing that, I didn't even realize I stopped. It's just I no longer cared. I just started showing up, doing what needed to be done, and yeah, that was it. Ooh, we I was talking with some of my coworkers like before I left, like towards the very end. Now, how would you say this? There were three bosses. We have the CEO, the COO, and CMO. CMO in this story is largely irrelevant. He's just a chill guy. He's friendly and does what you ask him. So yeah, overall experience thumbs up. The CEO is the one who really really liked me when I was doing my internship, to the point that when I asked like if they had anything available, he's like, yeah, we need to hire Ordi. And then he goes to the COO and is like, hey, whatever it takes, we need to bring this guy on our team, right? And because and it's they spent a full year, 12 months, right? Just getting all of the legal documents in order to get my visa and allow me to enter the country and work for them, right? It's a 2-month process. And I thought at first like, oh, is the government being slow and this and stuff. And then I saw how they did paperwork. I'm like, yeah, I know why it took 12 months. It was all on their end. So anyway, that boss, COO, Chief Operating Officer, right? He basically runs the company. Um, because the CEO is just like out shaking hands, smiling for pictures, blah blah blah. So he spent a full year, and they're already like overworked and burnt out. He spent a full year doing all of this stuff just to bring me in. Whereas if they hired like a local, it's like one document, a handshake, and a signature. So yeah, apparently a lot of my other coworkers are like, oh, maybe he's very frustrated because he had to do an entire year's worth of work just because of you, and now that you're finally here, he's trying to take it out on you and show that hey, it wasn't worth it, right? Because my day to day at that company was I do my work and stuff, and then CEO comes in, big boss. He's like, hey, I want to talk about like performance and stuff. They're like, we feel like maybe you're not doing this. It's all BS coming from that guy. And then I start explaining what I'm doing, and then he sees like, oh, I'm doing a great job. He's filled with enthusiasm. He's filled with excitement, right? He is vibing. He's having a great time. He's excited to see what I do next, right? Because I was doing a great job. And then like 2 weeks pass, he hears more nagging from CEO like, yeah, Orty is not doing anything, blah blah blah. We shouldn't have hired him. And then he comes talks to me. He's like, oh, we should let's address the problem. How can we fix this? And then I talk to him, and no problem. And this every 2 weeks, same thing, day in day out, right? So yeah, that's when I realized that guy just really handed out for me. So that was my experience. So all of like it's a good way of putting this. It would have been fine if people were not petty. Like it would have still been a sinking ship, but not only did I have to do my job, I also had to prove to people that every 2 weeks, like I'm actually doing something that's super useful, to the point that when I left the company, I did a final presentation for the CEO. Like no one else was advised, just me and him. full Steve Jobs level presentation of how awesome I am and all of the value of what I've been doing, which was clocked up to like 15K US dollars of bringing into the company. That's a Malaysian company. Their income is very low. I don't think it's a profitable company, right? So when I showcase like, hey, this is the value that I've been bringing in for like the year that I worked here, immediately there was regret in his eyes because I had already handed in my resignation and stuff. I just wanted them to know, this is me being petty, by the way. I had no reason to do that. I just wanted them to know that how great of a job that I was doing. I quantified it with monetary value, and I was like, I'm sure you guys can do it without me. And then I pieced out. Yeah. It's very satisfying being petty, but it has to be warranted. You know, you can't be petty with everyone. You have to choose your battles. So when people are like, this is a very nice purple cat, no, I will what's it called? I will shank people in the kidney if they try to pull the rug under me. That's why I do so well in the workplace. I kept the receipts. I kept all of the every meeting I had with like CEO of other companies and all of that stuff, all of the partner things. I added all of it to the presentation. There was no room for doubt. It was beautiful. I think that's the best presentation I've ever given in my life. I was basically presenting myself, showing how great that I was. It was, you know, it's just corporate fluff and peacocking. It wasn't like I was the second coming of Christ or anything. But I made them think that right before I left. So yeah. Also, important thing. Um, I thought I'd be nice and give them 2 months notice that I was leaving because, like, you know, they need a lot of time to replace me. And the last time, someone actually quit. Someone who was fed up with them quit literally over the weekend. He showed up on Friday. Sunday, he's like, "Yeah, I got a new job. Bye." And they spam called him the whole day, and he just would not pick up. Right? So they got really upset and they had a whole company meeting like, if you guys want to leave, it's fine. You can talk to us. Just give us as much notice as possible. I did that. I was like, I'll leave in 2 months. And I was asked to leave after one. So, you know, don't trust people. That is red flag. You know, something you should, not a red flag, but that's something you should consider. To be fair, I was half expecting them to be like, oh, don't leave after 2 months, leave tomorrow. That's what I was expecting. Like worst case scenario. At the end of the day, I was fine because I was doing art, and like I said, Malaysia is a very cheap country to the point where if you're earning US dollars, even just like a fair amount, like a little bit, not enough to survive in the first world, quote unquote, you will do really well in like a low income country like Malaysia, you know, low cost of living, that kind of stuff. Yeah. So I was good. The only person who truly lost in that deal was, you know, the company itself. Sorry, I was yapping way too long. Never delete a thing. You never know when you might need it to practice. Exactly. Literally the day I quit, they revoked access to my email like the day after. I saved a copy of everything on that email's drive. I can't for the life of me find it. I know it's on one of like my 6 hard drives in long-term storage. I just don't know which one. Got screwed over an employee to who showed up just to quit. They worked a third shift on the weekends. I already worked 32 hours overtime that week and had to cover. Ooh, I'm the kind of person who, with my Zoomer attitude, my Zoomer corporate attitude, it's oh, that's very unfortunate. Um, my shift is over though. Thumbs up to the boss. Good luck. And yeah, if you have like a stake in the company or it's like a major, or you actually like care about the company or something like that, I can understand going the extra mile. But I'm very jaded. It was a tech support center, and my boss didn't answer the phone. I'm the kind of petty person. Wait, is there a policy where you're not allowed to leave if your replacement doesn't clock in? Is that how it works there? Do they have that as a policy? If not, I would have just been like, well, I finished my shift. Peace out, y'all. At the time, yes, understandable. Yeah, it makes sense why I couldn't just up and leave. I was trying to get hired full time. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah. If you have like something to gain from it, a promotion, trying to work full time, I can understand going the extra mile or in some extreme cases brown nosing just to get like what you want from them. That's okay. But if you're paid for overtime, so that to threaten to quit for them to hire me though, understandable. If they can't afford to lose you, they will give in. So for the mounts, I guess side smirks if you can. Oh, do you mean like this was sent a while ago if you're still here. Do you mean something like hmm? Like that? I mean, the octopus doesn't have a jaw, but the mouth can still move. Yeah? Oh, okay, okay. At least 40 hours was at a time and a half. I might forget about the mouth thing, so let me add it here. I leave notes to future Ordikai. So let's see. Remember mouth X. And then I leave them here as excuse me. I leave them here as layers of art. There. So when I'm rigging it, yeah, so when I'm rigging it, I see it, I'm like, oh right, I'm supposed to do that. Because I'll be like, what's this purple thing? And then I click on it and then it tells me. The corporate world is cooked, you know. I'm a bit too comfortable being an artist. I know long term, I don't think it's the best idea financially, but hey, I am young cat. I have a lot of time ahead of me. So I'm like, I'll just vibe for now. Corporate world is cooked beyond say. I think it was like kind of always bad for like a long while. Work at a small company with around 50 employees is a much better workplace. Understandable. I think like that's a good size where they have their shit together, but it's still small enough where everyone kind of matters in a sense. I think the company that I worked in, they had like 10 employees and they needed like about 20, 30 people of, to do the work. They had a workload of like 20, 30 people, is the way to put it. But they couldn't afford to hire people. So whenever anything was needed to be done, they just like shove it on to someone else. Yeah. And I even have like some of my friends who work there. They would take on the work simply because they want the company to succeed. Because they, like I said, it's a short corporate ladder, and they're like at the second rung. There's only one more above them. They're not going to become the CEO, right? So their only hope of quote unquote promotion is the ladder expands and the new rungs, are put underneath them, you know? It's like sitting on top of a small tree so that when it grows, you grow with it to the top. Yeah, that was their plan. So it ended up forcing them to like work on like weekends and stuff. So yeah, that was insane. And it's unpaid overtime. They were just doing it because the work needed to be done. Everyone wants to become an entertainer. Everyone wants entertain. Yeah. To be fair, being an artist is not okay. I say this for the average norm, the average person out there, you know. Being an artist is probably not the best financial route to go. Like you can probably make ends meet and if it takes like a long time to set up, but you can eventually get there and survive. If you have the option and you want like stable financial future, you know, corpo job is kind of the way to go. That and your own investments, blah blah blah. I'm not a financial advice guru. You can figure it out. All I can say is it's not being an artist. They are like exceptions, but they're like the 0.0001%. Don't look at them. I think streaming is even harder because from there, the only money you make is through like subs, gifts, blah, blah, blah. People have to essentially donate to support, I think that's a way of putting it. But for me, whether I stream or not, I still I still profit because, my product is art, not entertainment. The entertainment is just like for fun. I'm back. Welcome back, hey. Yeah, because like put it this way, how much does a sub go for? I think like if you're in the UK, it's like £4. Say you're a very frugal cat like me, and hold on, sipping some water. Say you're a very frugal cat like me, and you need to survive on £700 a month. That's like very very low. Like you live in a village, and you cook every day, and you're like me who goes to the store. Yesterday I went to a different supermarket and I wanted smoked salmon, right, for sandwiches, and I saw they sell it for £6 at this store. I'm like, £6? The store next to my house sells it for 4. I'm just gonna go tomorrow and buy it from there. i would uh I would rather go out on a different day to go shopping at a different store entirely just to save like a couple hours. If you're that frugal like me, that's just how I am personality wise. If you're that frugal, let's do the math. Say one sub is £4. I think it's 5, but let's just say it's 4. Mm, it's a math time, guys. What did I say? You need £700. Say you need £700 and divide by 4. You need 175 subs to what's it called? Yeah, you need 175 subs just to make ends meet month to month. So you squeak and you walk. No, I only squeak when I see things slightly priced higher in different stores than the ones I'm used to. Who doesn't love math? You know what? I like simple math that is self-explanatory. Or math where you just plug it in and you get what you need on the outside. I hated studying math, and I had to study a lot of it. My God. In fact, I never want to do math again. Crowning up a tightwad. A tightwad wouldn't spend money, and my parents said they squeak when they walk. Oh, do you mean? Oh, okay, okay. I get it, I get it. I suppose so, because I am, do you know how I buy things? I say it like this: smoked salmon is considered a pricey thing, but I look at it, I'm like, okay, this is like £4, and I can make like 6 to 8 sandwiches from it. So I'm like, that's 50 cents per sandwich. The cost of bread is like 50 cents a loaf, so per slice is negligible. I think it's like 10 pence, right? So I'm like, That's 50 cents a sandwich. So that's like £1 a meal. So yeah, £1. How much is that in US dollars? Let's see. One global British pound to USD. Yeah, so for like $1.30, I have a full meal. So yeah, that's how I do my shopping and breakdown of prices. Or if I want to treat myself, at the store that I went to, yeah, it's I think it's called Asda or something. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not British. I don't know what they're called, right? So I went there, and I went there because they have this chicken, right? It's like a full chopped up chicken, pre-marinated, all that stuff, and it's for like £6. I'm like, this makes 3 meals. It's easy to cook. I just throw it in the air fryer, and it's total of £6 divided into 3 meals. That is £2 a meal. A little higher than my £1 smoked salmon sandwiches. But if I want to treat myself or I need protein, that is the way to go. So yeah, when I say I am broke cat or frugal cat, that's the way I live my life. I don't have to. I do this even in Malaysia. Like when I was essentially having two incomes, doing art and working the corpo job. So yeah, it's just the way that okay. My mom is like that. She's frugal to a fault where it's a bit extreme. Like okay, I may be extreme. So when I call someone else extreme, you can imagine. I guess that's where I get it from. But I do things as I do the math, right? She would just see it and be like, spending £4. £4 is a lot. Doesn't spend it. Whereas I look at it and I go, £4 is a lot. But if you break down the individual costs per sandwich and I start doing the math and calculations, I'm like, okay, per meal is very cheap. So I go for it. I was the same way until I paid off my house. It is a good way to live, to be fair. I spent hours analyzing my finances, trying to figure out how to pay things off as soon as possible. Ah, that's a wise way to do it. That is a bit extra. To be fair, people who don't do that end up spending a lot without realizing it. Like as a university student, Goldie, you're familiar with ringgit. I don't remember if you live in Malaysia or just know, of like how things are there, right? Yeah. Okay. So for example, I'm familiar. Okay. So 4 ringgit is like $1. Now you'd look at it and be like, that's not a lot of money. So you'll buy a cupcake. A five? Oh yeah, sorry. I forget when I first went to Malaysia, it was like almost a clean four. But yeah. Um yeah, we'll round down to 5 ringgit for the sake of simplicity. You look at that and be like, 5 ringgit, $1. That's not a lot. I'll just buy this cupcake. Mm, that's not filling. So then you go buy lunch. You're like, I'll get a plate of chicken rice. That's like 8 ringgit. Yeah. That's another $2. Right. All of these little costs individually are so small you don't think twice about it. But say you go out for the day, you've bought like 5 cupcakes. You've had lunch and dinner. You get hungry in between, so you have a tea time rice, like chicken rice as well. I say this because that's basically how me and my friends were when we were in university. Literally every meal of the day, we go out. Where's a nice stall? That one looks like it has nice drinks. Ooh, I smell that one. That one's great. We just pop in, we go there. That is like the staple. Now, if you do that every single time, you have spent like 50 ringgit in a day and you wouldn't have even felt it. Say you go out for the day, you're treating yourself. That 50 ringgit would basically be like a week's worth of groceries. So yeah. As a student, I learned that eating out is like the fastest way to lose money and not even feel it. So yeah, that's why I always break down the cost. I'm like, okay, this is like one meal, the cost of one meal. More like 4 days. Yeah, it's a rough estimate. If you're living as a broke student like I was, you can stretch it out to a week. I worked with people making 100K a year and were one paycheck away from bankruptcy. Oh yeah, have you heard of? Yeah, you've probably heard of golden handcuffs, right? I try to be very cautious about that. I would like the other people. Have you guys heard of golden handcuffs? A very very important thing if you wanna like save money. We have ads coming up, so yeah. In fact, my drawing earlier basically described that. Yeah, I was explaining it without explaining it. Hold on, I'll redraw the graph. Hold on. This is like the comparison of expenses and salaries of say two different people, right? I wonder if I should wait for the ads to pass before explaining this. But yeah, it's what I explained earlier. Someone gets 100K salary, but they have a nice house, nice car, buy lots of jewelry for their significant other, or buy their pets a golden toilet, that kind of stuff. I say I feel bad. The ads are here. We'll continue it afterwards. But yeah, a lot of people, yeah, a lot of people when they're trying to make money, they focus on increasing paycheck and not minimizing expenses. I think one thing I'm really good at is minimizing expenses. I wish we could disable ads permanently. One day, okay, wait, I think yeah, I saw some streamers talking about it before. They talked about how one day Twitch had an option where you can just there was a button that says disable ads. So basically everyone disabled ads on their channel. And then Twitch realized, oh, we're now bleeding money even faster because now our ad revenue dropped to zero. So they quietly disabled that and ads came back. So yeah, they realized, whoopsie. They didn't even tell everyone they were putting it back. They just quietly enabled them again, removed the button to turn it off. And like, yeah, let's just go back to the way things were. Yeah, because Twitch already is bleeding money. Like Twitch is not profitable. It's Twitch is essentially an ad for their web hosting services. Like Amazon. So yeah, their goal is not to make money. Their goal is to stop losing money. So yeah, they should allow small streamers to not have ads because it can cause people to click off. That is exactly why I have the 3 minutes of ads, right? Because if you have okay, there's two types of ads. There's pre-roll ads where when people click your stream, they immediately get an ad and then they see the stuff, right? That is pre-roll ads. Mid-roll ads are the ads that happen in the middle of stream, right? Like this one right now. If you have a mid-roll ad, like mine is 3 minutes, anyone who clicks onto the stream does not have pre-roll ads for a full hour. So anyone who comes in 1 hour from now will not have ads, right? That's why they keep happening every hour. It's so that people don't get ads when they click on my stream. So yeah, I saw a streamer talking about it. He was Pirate Software back before his spiraling. He was talking about pre-roll ads and his experience where they're like, hey, when they enabled pre-roll ads, the number of new followers essentially dropped like a lot. And then when they started rolling mid-roll ads and disabled the pre-roll ones, the amount of followers like per hour skyrocketed because people will click on it out of curiosity. They'll see the ad and be like, I'm not even going to wait 3 minutes for this. They click off before the ad's even finished. So yeah, they leave before they even give your content a chance. So yeah, if you want to be if you're interested in being a streamer, mid-roll ads super important. I always have a marker that pops up. Most just have like a message in the chat, which is fine. But yeah, I just have the full thing. Otherwise, I may not even notice ads are running. And I like to kind of pause the stream in quotes so people don't miss out. And yeah, a little bit of streaming tips. I used to put like every 30 minutes and you get 1.5 minutes of ads. But then I realized it was very annoying because we'd keep getting interrupted. So even though we have longer ones for 3 minutes, we end up not being bothered for a full hour rather than every 30 minutes they come back again. So yeah, I use that as a time to maybe go fill my water, go to the bathroom, or even just like other people in chat, get up, stretch, drink water, grab a snack, etc. All that stuff. So yeah, I found it better and I tested it out. I liked it better. We kept that system. So yeah, it's not a Twitch feature, but you can kind of do your own thing to make sure it works for for you. So yeah, a little bit of advice. Oh right, we were talking about golden handcuffs. So yeah, James was saying there's some people who imagine you're making 100K salary. Stabilizer is on, so it's kind of hard to draw and type. Imagine you have 100K salary, but you have 90K expenses. Yeah, say you have nice car, super nice house. You buy your cat's golden encrusted toilets, right? Super expensive. The moment your salary goes away, even for 1 month, you're completely cooked. You're gone, right? But say you make a 50K, right? But you live modestly. You have a decent house, a roomy apartment, you know. You treat yourself to a weekly meal out, but the rest of the time you make food at home, right? And say your monthly expenses are 20K. Yeah, let's say 20K. You have half this person's, yeah. You essentially have half of this person's paycheck, but you're making 3 times the money because the most important thing is, yeah, they save 10K profit, whereas you would get 30K profit. You know, even though they have double your salary, you're making 3 times as much as they are. Now imagine they did this. Imagine they lived modestly for 20K, they would have profit of 80K. And yeah, imagine you just have 80K to spend on anything you want. So yeah, it's really hard to increase your salary. It's way easier to decrease your expenses. So think about it. Unless you're like a millionaire and yeah, all that 80K will just be necessities. Yeah, if you okay, unless you have like life-threatening conditions or disabilities, not counting that. I'm talking about like you're perfectly healthy and everything is all good. Your necessities in quotes is not 80K, no matter where you live or what you do. So yeah, necessities will run you like 20K. Maybe your rent, your mortgage, living expenses, you know, depending on where you live in the world, and it varies a lot, right? Like like for example, when I am when I am earning my artist salary here in the UK, I am comfortable living modestly, all good, right? earning the exact same salary in Malaysia, I was earning more than some of my coworkers who were kind of like senior at the company, who've been working there for like 5 years, you know. So it's not only what you make, it's also cost of living. Now different countries have different cost of living, you know. Like for example, Southeast Asia, my home country, right? Second world, third world countries like that, their income is low, but their living expenses are also low. So if you have a foreign salary and low living costs of, you know, like your local country, you get like a bonus multiplier to like your income. So yeah, it's a very nice thing. I think it's one of the things I miss most. That and Grab food. Oh, sorry. It's like Uber Eats in Southeast Asia, right? It's called Grab. It's like their super app. I was texting my friend, right? I talked about visiting, him coming to see me, and I was like, I told him, I was thinking about it the other day, and I was wondering, I think I miss Malaysia, and I was thinking, what exactly do I miss about it? It was all the food. It was just they have nice food. The food is cheap. It was all food related. Then I'm like, I don't think I liked anything else. It's an okay country, you know. It's clearly much better than my home country. You know, it's a low bar to clear. But yeah, things were cheap and that's what I liked. But then again, it was only really nice because I was earning foreign salary. If I was earning local salary with low living costs, then I'd just be like, you know, it would have just been okay. The only downside to that is if you live in a low cost of living country with low income, you'll be fine within the country. But when it comes to buying stuff internationally, your international spending power is very low. But if you're someone who maybe you work like in the UK, live in the UK you could be kind of broke and you know living month to month and stuff, but the moment you take a vacation to like a different country that has like low living costs, basically everything is super cheap to you and you basically become rich while you're visiting there. That's why that's why you see like quote unquote all these foreigners visiting the country, because you know my home country is like that with a lot of European and American tourists. That's why they always seem super super rich even though they're just like probably earning the average in their home country. It's because our country, like the living cost is very low, so it's a matter of relativity. That's why I avoid like the touristy spots because they're charging the prices that they would charge tourists, and like as a local there's no way I'd ever pay that. If my parents are treating me, sure, but myself, no way. You could probably get the same thing in a different part of town. If you go away from the touristy parts, you'll get like the exact same thing for like literally 10% the price. So yeah, the one thing I really hated about my home country, because I'm a very mixed person, is I'm always mistaken for a tourist, and I really don't like that. And you might be wondering, you know, it can't be that bad. I go to the beach, right? Because it's a coastal country, and we have beautiful beaches. It's the one good thing about the country. There is one more thing, but I don't want to say because then it narrows it down to where I live or where I'm from. It's like one of two major selling points is the beach, and if you go, tourists flock there. They bake in the sun like lobsters. They come back completely red. Like I said, Europeans don't really understand. You know, the ones who are like from the UK, countries where they don't have the sun, they come to like the tropics and then they completely cook and leave bright red. I'm not even joking. Like pale, they enter the country pale, they leave the country looking like this. That's not an exaggeration. Now, where was I going with this? Right, right. Why it's bad that they think I'm a tourist in my own country? because they will see me at the beach and they'll try selling me stuff. And sometimes they have like good things. Maybe it's like they have like the spiced mangoes and nice food that they sell at the beach. Now I would want to buy some, but I can't because now they're charging me. Yeah, they're really really upcharging me. Like imagine you go to a place and you buy like churros for like $1, but then you go and people think you're a tourist, so they tell you, oh, this is actually like 20 times the cost. It's $20, not one, and you know it's one, right? They would sell it to the person next to you for one because that person is local. But they see you as a tour. They see you and think you're a tourist, and they go like, they have money and they don't know how much things cost here. So they're going to be like, yeah, it's $20. And then the thing is, tourists actually pay that because to them in their head, they're like, I'm on vacation. I'm going to treat myself. $20, that's not too much. So they actually do it. And that's why people do it in my country. Before in the past, this is a heartbreaking story, by the way. So buckle up. In the past, what would happen is, people would try to sell me that, and I would immediately call their BS. And I would just like smile and laugh and be like, and I speak in the local language, and I'd be like, my friend, I am not a tourist. And then I say that fluently in like in the native language. And then they laugh and be like, oh, okay, he's one of us. And then they give me the real price. That was my life growing up. And then I left the country for like 7 years. When I came back, right, it was an inconvenience at most, because I could just be like, yeah, I'm not a tourist. And then they go like, he's one of us. It's fine. And then they sell it to me for the noble price. I leave the country for 7 years, almost a decade. I come back, same thing happens, very standard. And I go like, I'm not a tourist. What's the real price? And then the guy straight up looks me in the eyes, not blinking, no smile, no nothing. No, it's $20. I was like, it is not $20. I bought the exact same thing, like at my house, like near my house, for like $1, and I was like, my discount code is not working. This is bad. So yeah, that was a heartbreaking story. Now, whenever I'm hanging out with friends and I want something, I have to do the mean thing and ask them to go buy it for me. Imagine that. You're like, I want a drink. Hey, can you go buy me this thing over there? They understand, because they look way more local than I do. So yeah, I basically have to order them around. They're my friends. They understand, and they don't think anything of it. But I still feel bad asking. But yeah, that's my experience. The tales of Ordi. They get it, yeah. Good times. You know what? I probably won't go back to the country for like 6 years. I want to get like my permanent residence here in the UK, so I kind of have to stay here for like 5 years. I can leave occasionally, but I'd rather not. Also, traveling is a pain, and I have cats. I'm not gonna bring them with me, and I don't have anyone here to take care of them for me. So I'm like, Also, here it's crazy expensive, especially with pets, right? Here, everyone loves their pets, so capitalism has learned that people will do anything for their fuzzy little babies, and now they charge a crap ton. In Malaysia, I would pay like 50 ringgit, which is about $10, for a vet checkup, medicine, everything included. Go in, pay $10. They're cured of all ailments. Here, just for the checkup alone, right? We just gonna diagnose, see what is wrong with the cat. £50. That is ooh, that's like 60 US dollars, which is 5 times 6, 350 ringgit, if my math is correct. Just going to the vet, Goldie. Think about it. Your cat sneezes once, you go to the doctors, they'd be like, yeah, he just has the flu. 350 ringgit. Gimme. That's that's my culture shock. It makes no sense. It's just yeah, it's a higher cost of living here. So people are used to spending a lot of money. Mm. Yeah, that's why I'm a bit cautious. And I think my cats are still adjusting to the weather because they sneeze a lot when they hear. Not a lot, but I noticed they sneeze before, like in Malaysia, they would never sneeze at all. Here, I occasionally hear the a little achoo from them. So into an old clinic of mine, my old house area. And this time I went there, a few pills were 250. What are we even buying? Damn. Because I bought them like anxiety medication, and that cost me literally 3 ringgit. I didn't even have to bring the pets. Like they had their stuff on record. They're like, oh, it's this cat. They're this big. So yeah, this pill with this dose is fine. Oh, you meant a human hospital. I was thinking about pets. Whoops. Oh yeah, yeah. If it's a private place, yeah, they do charge more. Do you know what the crazy thing? One of my pet peeves about Malaysia is what for the pet I mean cat. Oh, okay, okay. Sorry, sorry. My bad. You did mean a vet. Yeah, one of my pet peeves is I went to the hospital once, but when I was a student, the closest hospital was a private one. So I just like went there. And their consultation fees is like 50 ringgit as well. It's like $10. So I didn't even bat an eye. I didn't even know it was a private one. I just saw hospital sick. I go there. No worries. I actually had surgery there once. So yeah. Even then, like maximum, it was like $500, right? So when I went to work, right, and I got sick, I went to the hospital. I went to one which was a government hospital. And I was talking to the nurse, and she, like, I was explaining stuff, and they're like, the first question she asked me is, are you local? I'm like, no. And like, oh, are you married to a local? And I'm like, no. It's like, okay. Uh, you might want to go to a private hospital because the amount of paperwork and policy you'd have to go through just to get treated here is crazy. So it's better you go someplace else. Like, imagine. Fortunately, it wasn't a big deal. I was just like feeling really sick. And I think just going there, that took like the last of my energy. So I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna go home. If I die, I die. It's okay. It's fine. Spoiler alert, I recovered. So here we are. Yeah, I don't know what it was. I think it was just like a really, really bad cold or something. It wasn't COVID. I don't think I've ever gotten it. Again, you have to go outside and meet people to get it. I didn't do much of that. It was 350 apparently that way. Whenever you go to a government hospital, I guess like oh yeah, because I got bit by a stray cat. The government hospital was gonna charge me okay if I was local. Government hospital is 40 ringgit, but private hospital same injection is 200 ringgit. So that's like $10 and $40. Yeah, big difference. But then again, since again I was a foreigner, so they told me, oh, the medicine itself is 40 ringgit, but the doctor's fees, since you're not local and blah blah blah, is 150 ringgit. So like at the end of the day, it costs the exact same thing, private or government hospital. So I was like, why'd I even come here? Because I was at the private one. They're like, oh, you could go to the government one, because it'll be way cheaper there. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll do that. Yeah, it was just a waste of my time because they asked about the cat, and then it was a cat I was feeding, and then I was petting it. I think it finished its food, and then it got spooked, and then it bit me and ran away. So yeah, they were asking about the cat, and then they realized, oh, this cat was not showing any signs of like rabies, which is their concern. and they were like, it didn't have this behavior and it's always around the apartment building. They're like, an alternative to the injections is you can just observe the cat and see, like, if it's still alive in 2 weeks, then you're fine. No need for injection. Yeah, that cat was fine. It lived for like several months. And then, I moved and I didn't see it again. But yeah, I am rabies free. My doctor said so. Yeah, don't worry about it. Anyway, what was the point of this story? Yeah, government. You know what? I feel like we go off on so many tangents. I forgot what the original point was. Welcome to an Ordi stream, guys. Hope you had fun. The cost of living. I feel like we started with cost of living and then we started talking about random stuff. And then we ended up talking about the healthcare experience in Malaysia as a foreigner. But yeah, if you minimize your costs, you end up earning more than people who have a higher salary than you. Problemo solved. Maybe I should be like one of those people who just get AI to do everything. I'll just have a transcript running of the stream and then I lose my train of thought. And I'd be like, bot, what were we talking about? And then it just gives me a summary. Imagine being I can't imagine. Do you know one of the main problems with like the AI usage is ethics and everything aside? We're talking selfish reasons, right? Um, Cognitive offloading is basically you stop thinking and something thinks for you is starting to become a major problem simply because people are so used to the machine doing all the thinking that they don't practice thinking. And, that may sound like a crazy thing, but your brain, like a muscle, needs use to maintain itself. That's why you see all these studies like, oh, people who play chess or, yeah, people who play chess or people who learn a new language when they're older and stuff, they stave off dementia and all that stuff. The reason is you're engaging your mind, you're keeping it active, so your brain health is high. But when you start using things like AI to think for you, you're not thinking, right? And your brain, like a muscle, kind of atrophies. So mm, that's one of the downsides. Google started us down that hill. I feel like Google is a source of information where, okay, if you're using Google AI, yes. But if you just search things up, okay, it really depends. If you're getting like knowledge, right, that you don't have access to, I don't think that counts. But if it's like, oh, you're fixing a sink and you want to just try figure it out, that makes sense. Yeah. If you try figuring it out before you Google it, that's you, training your brain, trying to think for yourself. That's okay, right? That is different, but you're trying to remember. Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, sorry. I'm a very nerdy cat. When I use Google, it's just like how does fusion energy work? And then I start googling it and reading the Wikipedia page on it. The reason I searched it up is because I was watching Feather play Planet Crafter, and they're like, "Oh, we have a fusion engine. We need uranium for that." And I was just like, no, you don't." Oops, sorry. I'm like, no, you don't. You need a fission reactor because uranium is used for fission nuclear energy. For fusion, you need hydrogen isotopes. So yeah, that's what I Google. A big example is using Google Maps, right? Wait, yeah, it depends on, it's a tool. AI is a tool. It depends on how you use it. It's just everyone uses it badly. You can use it to your advantage, for example, like finding the jobs thing. But if it's like, oh, I want to think about something like maybe I want to play D&D, right? I want to make a character. I'm not going to think of a backstory. ChatGPT, write a backstory for this character. Yeah, that's not good. But yeah, good example of even before AI, the use of Google Maps, right? Because how do you say this? If you look at the maps, yeah, one of the things it did was it ruined people's spatial awareness. It made people have a terrible sense of direction. And like growing up, like I had a terrible sense of direction. In fact, even when I came here, I would use it excessively. Like I'm like, oh, I'm in a new town. I don't want to get lost. I don't want to end up in like some bad part of town. It's a small place. There is no bad side. There is no bad side of town. But yeah, I was just like, I don't want to make the wrong turn and get lost. So literally every corner I reach, every junction, every turn I take, I look at the maps. After a while, I realized I'm not memorizing the layout of the land, and I feel like I want to. So what I try to do was, if I need to go somewhere, I search the directions in Google Maps. Yes, it says, okay, this is the path you take. I look at it. I'm like, okay, it's vaguely in that direction. I close the app and I just start walking. And I'm like, I think I've walked far enough. I don't think I've passed it. It's only if I feel like I'm super, super lost, then I get it again. And yeah, lo and behold, after just a couple weeks of doing that, I basically have memorized the entire town. Like it's like a 40-minute maximum walk from one end to the other, at least to the important stuff. So yeah, it's not like it's an amazing feat like I've memorized a large city, but yeah, just like my small town to the point where I no longer need to use maps ever. I just know where things are. At most I'd be like, is there a store that sells this thing? I Google it. I'm like, oh, it's next to that thing, and I just walk. So yeah, my spatial awareness has kind of improved because I decided to train my brain a bit more. So yeah, I was doing well. I was trying to learn Japanese. I made decent progress, but then the whole Duolingo AI thing happened, and I stopped using their app, and I just haven't found a replacement. I think Kay recommended one, but I forgot what it was called. Whoops. So yeah, I want to get back into doing that. Yeah, exactly. If you look at your phone less and look at your surroundings more, like for example, if you like, okay, they're like these five landmarks. You are like, okay, where am I? You look around, be like, okay, that's the mall. That's the giant phone tower somewhere, which means this thing should be somewhere on my left. Something like that. That is you using your brain and training it to be spatially aware. So you like know where you are on the map, even if you're not looking at it. So yeah, people who use AI is like that, but for literally everything, right? They don't need to think about like a lot of others. Think of AI like a butler, like ChatGPT. If you're like I do want to do the dishes because I want to spend more time working on this project of mine. So, it's very helpful to like offload menial tasks. But if you imagine you have a butler, you're just sitting on that couch and be like, butler, I'm hungry. Get me some grapes. Butler, pop one in my mouth. Butler, hold my jaw open up and down so it chews the grape for me. You know, that kind of stuff. Give it a while, you will atrophy into a skeleton incapable of doing anything. And that is what excessive use of AI does to your brain. So, yeah, if you're the kind of person, like I have a friend who heavily relies on AI like ChatGPT simply because yeah, the movie Wall-E is a great example. You see, they were basically not incompetent. I think incompetent could be the word. Because I don't think they were dumb. They basically became helpless, right? They couldn't do anything. The robots did everything for them. Idiocracy is also a good example. Like everything was automated. No one actually needs to do any jobs because all the robots run everything to the point that everyone kind of just stays at home, watches TV, and yeah, that's it. So yeah, playing devil's advocate. I do have a friend who she heavily relies on ChatGPT and stuff. This is the friend who doesn't sleep and does like a thousand things, right? She uses it so that she can focus more on other stuff. Like for example, she's someone who works full time. She's financially independent. She's trying to study full time as a student. She's engaged in legal inheritance stuff at court, so that's also full time. She is also an author. She's writing her book full time. She is fighting to get the publishers to get her book, get competent editors, all of that stuff, right? Which is, I would say, part time. That's like four and a half full-time things, and she is one human being, right? A very capable one. She's the poster child of girl bossing hard, you know. So for her, ChatGPT is like a godsend because the menial tasks she just tries to automate, and now she does three full-time things instead of four and a half. You see? So it can come in handy if you use it well. But then if you're the kind who uses it as Google, like what does this thing mean? And then you ask Chat GPT, right? Yeah, you're doing yourself a disservice. Mm. I used it to learn different programming languages or deal with complex calculations. I think it's designed to not be very good at math. I saw back when I was a student, what's it called? I saw one of my friends. They were taking like one of their online quizzes, and they were a business student, and you know, in this like, oh, this is 5% this compounding interest, yada yada yada. How much do they actually pay? So she would just copy paste the question, and she'd paste it in ChatGPT, and it would always give A, the wrong answer, because it was multiple choice, and the answer gave not one of the options, and B, each time you ask it the exact same question, different answer. It's bad at giving answers, but walking through complex math problems. Oh, okay, yeah. So you use it to like yoink the steps, and then you plug in the numbers yourself. Okay, if that's what you do, makes sense. There are other applications. I remember Symbol Lab, I think it was called. That one was a pretty good one for like math and like the high level stuff, you know. Yeah. That was pretty good. Mm, you can pay for it to give you the answers and the steps, but if you're only interested in the answer, like that's free. The world is slowly become like Wally. You know, Wally is like the good alternative. You know, like best case scenario. Like for example, if you're heading to a dystopia like that, Wally is the good ending, right? Because everyone there, sure, they're like you've seen the movie, right? They're all glued to their chairs, but they're having a good time. They're happy in their little dystopia, right? The movie Idiocracy, right? Hold on. Let me this movie. If you've ever seen this one, amazing movie from 2006. That's not in English. That's too small. Not in English. Too small. Okay, you know what? I'm going around in circles. Okay, you know what? This is good enough. This movie, Idiocracy, is basically the future of the human race where the intro to the movie is like smart people have like one child, but like dumb people have like nine children. So since humanity doesn't have any natural predators, intelligence was bred out of the human race, and eventually the average IQ dropped to like 10, and smart people became extinct. But the story follows the protagonist here, where he freezes himself in like a he like froze himself like cryogenically, and they forgot about him, and he woke up like thousands of years later. So he was an average person, but when he woke up, the average went so low to the point that he was the smartest man alive, right? Yeah, because it got to the point where, yeah, just put toilet water on it. It got to the point where the only thing they drink is like sports drinks, because they're brainwashed by advertising. Because the advertising is like, you drink this thing, it has electrolytes, right? So actually, that's a bit of spoilers for the movie. I won't get too into it. But essentially, they wouldn't drink water. They'd only drink the sports drink. And they're like, the guy even asked them, is like, why you drink the sport drink? They're like, because it has electrolytes in it. It's what, it's good for you. Like, he would ask them, is like, what are electrolytes? They don't know. They're repeating what the ad is saying. They're like, it has electrolytes. Drink this. So that's why they do it. I actually have friends like that with Apple products. Not gonna lie. It's the same energy. Now, I'm not an Apple hater. Their phones are not bad. It's just they force you to use Apple and only Apple, and the phones are not worth the price. That's my only problem with it. It's not friendly with other third party stuff, and you pay way too much for branding. That's the only issue. But they treat Apple like the holy gospel, and nothing Apple does could ever be wrong in any way, right? When watching this movie, it really reminded me of that. So yeah, super good movie. Totally recommended. It was created as satire, but is feeling more and more real. Terry Crews is in it, and he's the president of the United States. That's all I'll say. Hi, Melta. Welcome on in. We're talking about movies in our art stream. Oh yeah, back to the point. Since they never drink water, the only place they associate water is toilets. So he's like, why don't you guys drink water? He's like, water? You mean the stuff they put in toilets? Ew. Yeah, they were dumb like that. So close to 10K? Oh yeah, the bricks 4,004 sorry, 9,415. They're watering the plants with Brondo. Yeah, they were giving okay, it's an old movie, and besides, the charm of the movie is not even the plot. They were dying out, like the crops, the farms, and everything. The plants were all dying, and they didn't know why. The reason being, they were giving it sports drinks, and they're like, it has electrolytes. It's what plants crave, right? They're just parroting the marketing thing, but sports drinks are not good for plants. They're good for people. So yeah, the guy basically was trying to save them by telling them, you need to put water on plants and then they grow. So yeah, that's why he was fighting with them, like, hey, you need water, and they're like, water? That stuff from the toilet? Ew. Yeah, it's super funny. Terry Crews is the president, and they only elected him because he was like a famous pro wrestler, not because of anything politics related. They're like, ooh, I like that wrestler. I like this celebrity. I'm gonna vote for him. I think there are some people who they've started to get into politics. I know a good one is okay, I don't know if they're a good politician, but Matt Pat from Game Theory. I think he's running for like a I forgot what it was, mayor. He was running as a politician for something local. That's the good ending. The bad ending, I think, is there was some other nuisance streamer. I think it just go around to other countries and harass the locals there. I think he went back to like I forgot what European country, and he's like, I'm now gonna run in parliament or for something, and since dumb people are getting older and now have the ability to vote, I'm talking like Gen Z, Gen Alpha, and those kinds. Yeah, they're just gonna vote for. Okay, fingers crossed they don't. But yeah, if that happens, I'm not surprised. This is what they were talking about in Idiocracy. I'm just slowly seeing it come to life, and I was like, maybe I should get around to building that doomsday bunker. You know, I think doomsday preppers, a little crazy because they genuinely believe that they'll be fine. I think building like a doomsday bunker or like a cabin, something like that, would be a fun project to do for fun and never needed, never use it. So you have like a hunting cabin or something, and maybe you own the land around it. Maybe if you retire, you can be like, I'm gonna make a farm here. It's gonna be self-sustaining. I want to go 30 years without needing the outside world. Sure, you can pop into town, see people, but live off the grid, and see how long you can go. And of course, you have stuff in an emergency. That's okay. I was just thinking when I retire, that's what I want to do. I want to have like I want to buy a castle or build a castle, a miniature version of it, and just be like, this is my land. I'm gonna make a farm, right? And it's gonna be self-sustaining. It's gonna be off the grid, and everything's on the internet. I'll just make a series out of it just for fun, not even for people. I think there are like a few channels like that. I saw it, was pretty cool. I was like, I want to do that. It looks fun. So yeah, anyone have any fun retirement plans? Because that's mine. I wanna. It's either a castle, a cabin somewhere, or a boat. One of them. Boat, I'm not leaning so much on because A, limited space, B, they sink, C, pirates exist, so I don't think so. Yeah, this is a good movie. Remember back when we used to do art? Good times. My voice is feeling kind of tired. I can't even remember what we were doing. I think we finished everything here. Hmm. Yeah, I think we're basically done with the model, like the art. So you can start rigging it. I forgot how much progress I made last time. So I thought like I had a lot more to do. I feel like if I was truly running an art stream, right? Like you see most people do, like just focus fully on the art. I think I could have just knocked this entire thing out in like a couple hours. Like art, rigging, etc. Because it feels like it's a bit on the simpler side. Like the art is cut up really well, so I wouldn't have like too much work to do. So yeah, it's always tougher if the art is cut up badly and I kind of have to fix it in rigging, you know? I've done that a couple times, which is why I'm not the biggest fan of accepting work that already has the art done. Cause yeah, I think in the past, cause my prices for like full body were very low, like I was new artist undercharging. I'm talking like $200-300 art and rig for, well, the quality was way 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 lower, right? But yeah, since I had like a price range like that, I would only get the people who had like the lowest budgets, which means they would go to like the cheapest artists who would create like low quality art, which in a lot of the times, or a lot of cases, was straight up just not cut correctly. Like they probably have never rigged before, so they vaguely know that things need to be cut up, but don't understand how or why. So yeah, those ones were always a bit painful. So yeah, I have to always vet the art now. That's no fun. Yeah, that's what I keep telling to everyone who's like, haha, no art done. Yappy Cat doesn't do art. I feel like if I did a purely art stream, A, you guys would be bored. B, I would be bored. And if we're both bored, there's no point in streaming, right? Because if you guys are bored, then, no one would be here, right? People show up to have fun, to be entertained, to just hang out, yap, etc. But if it's only art, then, you know, yeah. There are some artists who their art is really, really good to the point that some people just like watching it, unfold, uh, or even in some cases learning from there. But that's usually they're much bigger artists who have like huge followings elsewhere, and then like some of that kind of trickles into streaming, and like they have their viewer base like that. I don't think I have that, you know. So. Mm, I'm not really running a this is how to live 2D, and it's super intricate and people can use it as a tutorial. I think that's what I wanted to start off doing, but yeah. A, I started yapping, and then B, I realized if I actually did that, I would have gotten bored, and then yeah. But even then, they still have a good interaction with the audience, like the punishment wheel or allowing people to suggest what to work on next. Oh yeah, those are the ones who they balance like art and yapping. There is like it's like a spectrum, right? There's some who, like me, mainly just yap and hang out, and there are others who only do art, like dead silent. Like at times they don't have a mic; it's just a PNG, and the art being done in the background. I have seen channels like that, and yeah, there are some. I think like the biggest ones are usually somewhere in between. Like they're doing art, but they're also yapping. I'm not the best at illustration, so working on things. Yeah, I don't think I could do that impromptu. I couldn't be prompted to do it. Otherwise, I get a I get a bit self conscious. It's fine if no one's watching me. I think I've gotten a bit better at it. Like if it's models, sure. Like the way I draw them will make it is a bit different. Because it's very standard. Like for example, if it's a mascot, it's just drawing basic shapes. Like this is the ball. I make a ball. This is the body. A couple of other ones. These are the eyes. That kind of stuff. But for illustrations to make it like nice, you want dynamic posing and etc. So yeah, I don't think I'm brave enough to have like a suggestions for what to draw. For me, my interaction is I even put it. I wanted to just even encourage it. I have this ask me anything down here in case maybe someone is like a newcomer and maybe they feel a bit shy. They're like, am I allowed to ask? Can I talk about this? Everyone seems to be yapping. It's basically an open door. So I'm like, ask me anything. Could be about rigging, could be about, well, literally anything. We're discussing the UV damage of the sun, living costs, the medical industry in foreign countries, golden handcuffs. We talk a lot about we talk about a lot of stuff. I realize now. But yeah, basically the style of content I make is I wanted to aim for more podcasty stuff where it's not really important what I'm working on in the background so long as we're able to yab. I did play a few games with Feather, and the thing I realized is if I'm playing a game, I feel a bit bad because I focus on the game and a little less on chat. And I don't know how to feel about that because, on one hand, it's, Sure, there's less yapping and attention, but people can hang out. At the same time, I feel like I like when people show up to yap, and I feel like that's the experience that I kind of promise whenever I go live. So I'm like, I don't know if I should change that. I feel like it's okay if like I stream a few games here and there, especially if it's like not my usual streaming time. I think that's okay. Hmm. Or I'm even thinking. I know it's fine. It's just these are the thoughts that I think about. I had an idea where I'm like, if I'm collabing with people, maybe I don't stream it, but I have a ping for it, a special ping, like a collab ping, and say like, hey, I'm not live, but you can find me on this person's channel, in case someone wants to like check it out. But in the end, I'm like, no, I think it's better if I just stream it anyway, even if it's not my usual content. A little bit of variety to spice it up. So yeah, I feel like it doesn't matter what I do so long as there is yapping. Unfortunately, when it comes to games, I focus a lot on the game itself and I forget about chat. That's why I only ever play like dating sims and stuff if I'm not doing art that day. Simply because like I can just take my eyes off of it and continue yapping and no one really loses anything because I don't think many people pay attention to the dating sim anyway. The suggestions for what to work on next. I feel like that's something I would do if mm, you see the little mascots down here. Say I want to make like more of them. So I want to go, what animal should we make next? And people can pitch their ideas. I saw someone previously others have pitched. I think they wanted mouse slash rat. Another one wanted dragon. Mm, so yeah. Honestly, I want to make a whole bunch of these things so that if any of my stuff goes viral and then people check out the stores, they are free models, but they're mixed in are these ones which are, you can pay $10 and get them and, stream with them. The free ones are always like fan made models of, say, like other people's communities, their mascots. So, yeah. I can make it and distribute it for free. I don't know if other people can stream and monetize their content. It's really a case by case basis. I saw that some creators they don't mind so long as it's like A, it's respectful, B, it's not excessive. Like for example for merch, some people they say they don't mind if people make like they make their own unofficial merch so long as it's very different from what is official. Like for example, if you want to sell like a plushie, you can sell something that is very similar to something that's on their official stores. But if it's something like very different, they don't mind. So yeah, copyright is a tricky maze to navigate. So yeah, so I haven't done many of the free models lately. Okay, this is actually I wanted to do this thing where I wanted to make like the mascot models of like everyone in V Shoujo, right? Because if you look at back then, the company's policy was derivative works, which is like fan content, is fine so long as you don't pay wallet. If you post it for free, give it away for free, you're allowed to do that. So I'm like, okay, this is a huge number of them that I can make content and not worry about copyright. And then the company went under and, the whole drama and stuff. So yeah, I'm like, I'm scrapping that idea. So yeah, I think the only non-corpo ones I have, I think, is Doki's Dragoons and yeah, the blockheads from Porcelain Maid. Yeah, the blockhead one is actually the first mascot model I ever made, And I was making it even before, mascots were truly a thing. I made it because I wanted a simple model and I wanted to practice solid objects. I wanted a 3D square that didn't jiggle. So yeah, I'm like, this doll is perfect. Cause like I'm a Joel watcher. I haven't seen some streams lately. But yeah, I thought I made it for fun. Then this is a while back. I straight up just asked like on Twitter. I'm like, hey, can I give this away for free? And he was super nice. He was like, oh my god, I love it. Yeah, of course, give it to anyone. He asked for the file, send it as well. So yeah, it was pretty cool. That was the model that started it all. Actually, let me bring it up. Hey Ether, we're talking about old models. So yeah, do you see the ones at the bottom left? This is the modern day jiggly one, super squishy. The very first model. Let me bring it up. Do I have it? Please tell me I have it. Yes, I have it. But yeah, this is the little chat doll. See? He's kind of solid, but this is the famous UV index. No, do you want to bring it up? Do you want to see what Maxine's brain melted over? Hold on, sorry. I'm showing off one of the first mascots I made. This little guy. Huh? Okay, hold on. I'm switching back to my normal form. Hi, Maya. What did I click? Okay, there we are. Where's the UV index thing? Yeah, this is the image. Hold on, hold on. Here we are. I think. Yeah, I think this was the chart. Yeah, I found it. Let me put it on screen. This is the. Oops, I'm in the way. Oh, we have ads. Is midnight on the way to bed? Why you in a teacup? Teacups are very comfortable to sit in. Also, I don't know if you have ads. Can we sip you? You can try, but this is a very pointy stick. I'm not above beating people with it. It's my cup. No one can drink from it. I've been sitting in it all day. Isn't that kind of nasty? String, I admittedly haven't been going long enough for an old model. Just used a PNG tuber briefly. Oh, yeah. When I say old model, it's not my model. It's just one of the first ones that I rigged because like I'm an artist and rigger. The beaded the beading makes it interesting. Sometimes I forget the kind of community Feather has. But yeah, crap. The ads are here. They're in the way. Hold on. Let, let me take a sip of water. Very off to bed. Do you not want to see the explanation that melted Maxine's brain? Is this chart? Because I'm talking about how would you say it? Yeah, I'm talking about the UV index. I'm like, this is how strong the sun is. If it is a normal summer day in the UK, 6, you follow along like this, you can go 30 minutes before you start burning and you get sun damage and skin cancer. I've been up for 20 hours. Everything melts my brain. Oh, okay. Well, I hope you have a good night's rest. Thanks for stopping by. But yeah, this is the UV index. I was telling them, okay, sun is good for you for vitamin D, but too much of it will give you sun damage, UV damage. Now, how do you know how much is too much, right? We have a chart. You can Google UV index and then, your town, and it'll tell you what the strength of the sun is. So usually 1 or 2 is like very safe, you know, can go out for like an hour or two and you'll be fine. So yeah, I was explaining this to my chat, like how the graph works, what is a safe level of sunlight, when you should wear sunblock. Yeah, Maxine took one look at this and immediately was like, nope, and left, which I find funny. Super fun. Yeah, we are a very nerdy chat. Do you think do you think I wear these glasses for no reason? I have 20/20 vision. It's purely as like as soon as we start talking about science and math, the glasses come on. Or if we talk about D&D or nerdy stuff. So I'm filling my bottle. I keep two water bottles with me because one's not enough. But yeah, I've come a long way. Going back to models. Yeah, I've come a long way in my journey of rigging. I think I showed off one of my and freedom. Oh yeah, welcome. Yeah, this is the chart that melted Maxine's brain. So yeah, we were discussing for context. This is the TLDR of not day before yesterday. The TLDR is I'm like, hey, sun very bad. Always wear sunblock. Skin cancer. UV damage ages you way faster than time does. Right. And then Kay in the chat was like, yeah, but my dad says it's, it's good for you, vitamin D, all that stuff. So I'm like, okay, correct. It is good for you. But on one hand, it's good for you. On the other, it damages you. What's up? Like, what is the truth here? It's more complicated than that. If there is very cloudy day, you live like in the northern hemisphere, not a lot of sun, you get like 1 to 3 on the UV index. Like this is the level of how strong the UV rays are down here, UVI. So I only ever go out when it's 1 or 2. Anything more than that, I'm like, nope, I stay inside. I am like a vampire. I hide from the sun. So using this graph, say it's a bit sunny, it's a 3, you go all the way up, and then where it touches on UV damage, here, that's about 50 minutes. So in 50 minutes, on a day where the UV index is 3, you start burning. So you have to spend less than 50 minutes in the sun, 40 minutes and you're good. Makes sense. So yeah, I was basically explaining to chat this. I'm like, this down here, vitamin D, this up here, skin damage, and yeah. Anyway, welcome to my art stream. We don't do art here. We're working on a little model here for one of my editors. This is a PNG plus model, but I'm like, hey, this is cut up really well, right? I could actually convert this to a live 2D model, and they were interested. So I was like, okay, here we go. So yeah, the art is mostly done, and I think now we just have to rig it. Although my voice is kind of dying. Mm, usually 3 hours is my limit. Wait, when you said you manage your very simple rigging job, did you rig it yourself out of curiosity? Gotta love skincare? Yeah, it's your largest organ. And according to Barney Stinson from How I Met Your Mother, your second most important one. Very dumb joke. But yeah. Because when we actually do art and stuff, the extreme chop chop with a whole lot of issues, especially with the neck. Well, at your service is a purple cat who has many years of rigging and has actually developed a lot of shortcuts and easy ways to do things if you ever need any help with that. So yeah, honestly, feel free to ask. I'm live 4 times a week. You can ask here, or if you wanna hop in our Discord and ask there, that's all good. Or even DMs is fine. In my defense, I did teach myself to do it all in 2 weeks. Okay, the first model I ever made took me, I think, like 2 months, and it is horrible. Um, It took me several weeks of constant bullying by chat to actually show them what my first model looked like. And I didn't even show them like the rigging. That would be too much. I just showed them the art. I'm like, this is my abomination. It wasn't too bad. I was just being harsh on myself, but I've come a long way. To be fair, it's so I learned that UV mapping clothing is not a skill set I have. You mean like the art mesh stuff? I may not understand. And designing it. Oh, you mean like cutting up the layers and stuff like that? Yeah, pretty much. Ah, okay, yeah. That's sort of the things that it takes practice. You know what? Let me show you an example. Where is James's model? You know what? I love James's model. Mm. Whenever I need to point at something, this is the model I use now. Okay, so this is a suit. Ignore the fact that he has four sets of hands. Yeah, I think this is a suit. You're like, okay, how do I cut this up? Essentially, what you want is first to ask yourself, how complicated do I want this thing, right? If you want it simple, the entire torso, this could all just be one layer, and you'll get away with it kind of okay. If it's your first rig and you're like, I just want something basic, something to throw on the screen, you can you can just combine all this into one layer. But if you're like, I want this to be super intricate, you can say like, okay, this one collar, one piece. This one, another piece. This tie, individual piece. This jacket, individual. This chain, each thing that moves on its own piece. This coat lip, its own piece. You know what? You can bring up the model. So if you separate it like that, like here, like this, like the lip, the shadow, it makes it moving stuff around once rigging it like a lot more dynamic, and then you can have, hold on, loading the model. You can have it bounce around like that, right? Because like you saw, each of these things are like separated. The tie is separate, so you see it's sliding over the clothes at the back. The the jacket, the kind of lip here, separated. The shadow separated. The chain, each individual piece is separated, so they all wiggle independently. You know, there's no right or wrong way of cutting it up. It's just a matter of what do you want it to do? Do you want it to be very intricate? Do you want to have like 1,000 pieces? Do you want to rig 1,000 things and make it super nice? Or do you want something basic and just rig it once? So yeah, I love this model. This is hands down my absolute favorite. Okay, enough showing off on my part. I'm switching back to Purple Cat. But if you ever continue to rig and you want if you're ever stuck, can always ask for tech support. I love rigging. In fact, I've actually done that sometimes. Like on stream, we'll be working on something. And then one of the chatters will be like, "Oh, I'm trying to rig hair, but it doesn't come out so well." I literally just like stopped what I was doing. I was like, "Okay, do you see my little hair up here? I'm gonna show you how to make it swish up and down like that and sideways." And the method will only take you 5 minutes. And then right there and then, I showed like the rigging style. I'm like, okay, within 5 minutes, I'm like, there you go. The hair works exactly like that. And yeah, their mind was blown and they were happy. So yeah, I really don't mind helping people out if they're curious, simply because I taught myself everything and I know the struggle of not understanding why something is broken and then spending like 2 days trying to figure it out, only to realize it's just one tiny setting that's off, and then you just push one button, everything's fixed. So yeah, I know the struggle. I'm always down to help people, help prevent people from going through what I did. It literally just takes practice. And if you want to see an example of simpler one, this model that I have right now, the torso is just one piece, right? Like you can't see my mouse. Like the torso, the chest and stomach area, all one piece. The leg is divided into like two, and the arm is just two pieces. So it really, really depends on what you're going for. But you managed to do it in 2 weeks. That's impressive. Like I, I took way longer. But then again, yeah. I was doing it while what was I doing? I think I was on an internship. So yeah, I was working. It was tough. Natural clothing movement is really all I aim for, but then I also only rigged the neck, spine, hips so that I could tilt and turn my neck. My hair doesn't move well and my clothes not at all. I tried not to get discouraged because picking up what I did 2 weeks was impressive. If you can make a functional model in 2 weeks, that already is impressive. I also have a lot of tricks for like, I don't know if you came here for live 2D lessons. I like to info dump on all of the cool stuff that we worked on and like how to make it super easy. But yeah, do you have access to blend shapes? I don't know if does the free version have that. If it does, leaning becomes super, super easy. It's just changing one parameter and calling it a day. Hmm. It functions, but with a bit of jank, but I'm okay with that for now. Understandable. Maybe one day you look at it, want to upgrade it. I think like that's how I started. I started with a terrible model. Like mine was terrible. I've never seen yours, right? Mine was okay, you know what? I'm just being mean to myself. Mine was not terrible. Mine was a beginner model, right? And it had a lot of jank as well. And eventually, I'd rig it again, and it'll have less jank. And then I'd do again. It'll be slightly smoother, and then be like, okay, I've reached the limit because like the art was not cut up. Okay, then I redid the art. I learned a bit more, and fast forward a few years, I make full models now, which I feel like a very nice, and I can't keep looking. I can't stop looking at. My community likes it, so I can't be too mad. But naturally, I'm never gonna be totally happy with my work. That means you have the true heart of an artist. An artist is never happy with their work. They can be proud of it for a bit, but at the end of the day, They will take a look at the most beautiful thing ever created on earth, and the only thing they will see are the flaws. Like, for example, this model. A lot of people say it is very cute, unique, etc. Yada, yada, yada. But when I look at it, I'm like, oh, the torso is stiff, doesn't move, doesn't breathe. The neck here, you see there's a little, the way it detaches and it reconnects, it doesn't form a solid line. It's just two pointy bits touching again, right? The arm here, there's like you can see discoloration on like the boundaries between the hand layers, the hand and the chest, you know. I look at it and all I see another one there. I look at it and all I see are the defects. No one will ever see that, right? But I do because I made it. And as an artist, you're always your harshest critic. The chin, yeah. Shaq, you've been here a while. Did you ever notice that? Also, I'm looking a little bit away from the camera, so the eyes are jittery. I can't unsee it now. Yeah, you see, case in point. I never saw it. Yeah, and that's the thing. If you are an artist, you will see every single one of these things. You know what? I'll stop. There's more. Even like the ears, they're pointed to the left side. Even if I'm looking completely to the right, the ears still point to the left. So yeah, it is. If you're never fully happy with your work, it is probably still very good work. I see the work you, Feather, and Echo do, and I'm just encouraged to teach myself more, but I like picking up new skills. You know, that is a beautiful trait to have because usually if you want to encourage like a new artist, they're like, oh, I see all the work other people do. I'll never be like that. I can't do that. They're very self-negative, even though it's very possible for them to do it, right? I'm really, really glad that you see something and you go like, that is amazing. Oh, that's great. I want to do that too. I'm going to learn how. That is something I like to see. You can't unsee it. I'm sorry to shatter the illusion that the work was good. This is a very janky model, right? The only thing is I've set it up in a way so that you don't notice the jank. Like the eyes, what's it called? Not the eyes, like the hair, the ears, everything wiggles and looks super cute to the point that you don't notice that they defy the laws of physics and don't turn. I'm thinking if I make a full body model for myself, do I keep the teacup? Do I just make like a super high definition version of this? Well, I know that I've fallen in a jack of all trades situation, much better than coding and writing within the digital space, but I can art with limitation. That's good enough for me. Ah. To be fair, jack of all trades is a very good trait to have. Just hold on to the cup. Honestly, yeah. You know what it could be? It could just be full body model. It's holding on to the cup. It'll be a different outfit. And then you just see like this little bathrobe that I'm wearing just kind of hanging inside the clothes, inside the cup. Also, I read fun fact, my rightmost tentacle is broken. Which one? This one? Broken how? But yeah, Jack of all trades is really good because like in the early days, right? Mm, In the early days, you'll find people who are live 2D artists and live 2D rigger, but never find someone who is artist and rigger, right? So you have to get two people who most of the time don't know each other to kind of work on a project together and kind of align things perfectly. Mm, so I was a jack of all trades in the sense that I was not the best artist and I was not the best rigger, but I could do both. And that was very, very, very appealing to people who would commission me like in the earlier days. In fact, it's even very appealing now because if you have someone who does it all, they make the art very specifically to how they want to rig it. Whereas if you're using someone else's art, you have to work with what you have rather than creating something specially for how do you say this? Rather than creating something mm, custom, it's custom made, right? If it's custom made, like oh, I want to rig this in a specific way. You can make the art for that in advance. Rigging becomes super easy. But if it's someone who say like the way they cut it up is different, the way they organize things is different, then you may have a harder time rigging it if you're the rigger. Or if you're the artist, then you always hear complaints from the rigger like, oh, this is not cut up correctly and blah blah blah, that kind of stuff. Oh, and if you mean this part, I can fix it easily in Live 2D, so don't worry about it. That release the challenge. Realistically, I would want my model to match my profile picture, but translating my profile picture to model is a nightmare. What is your profile picture? Just gonna click on Feather's channel. I'm assuming you're in. Hmm. Never mind. I thought you'd be in Feather's Discord because I was looking for like the profile picture there. But anyway, don't think I am in mid scrolls though. Which is inconvenient because I don't think I'm in squirrels. But yeah. Mm, if you're, what's it called? If you want it to look like your profile picture, I think you can lean more towards like the art side. Like, okay, good art can cover bad rigging, but good rigging can't cover like bad art. So if you had to pick one to really focus on, if you had to, I would say pick the art. Because I've seen like models with very simple rigging but very beautiful art and still breathtaking. You'll actually see this in like corpo VTubers, right? Say I think like the earlier Niji Sanji ones. The model art is beautiful and stuff, but the rigging feels very stiff and robotic. Then I'm in your Discord. Oh, thanks for popping in. Okay. It was the welcome. Ah, I see it. Oh, like when you say like you wanted to be like your model, do you mean like the art style or I'm already seeing how to rig this. Sorry, that's my inner artist. It's very pretty. If my model is very close, is the clothes and accessories. Ah, okay. You know what? I also realize I could have clicked your name here. Here, let me drop you a follow. I could have clicked your I could have just clicked your name here and seen your profile picture. But anyway, thanks for joining the Discord. I want to do more on it, but I've been super busy lately. It's usually for like the live pings, and ooh, I do have a D&D game running that I'm still planning. So yeah. Also, I realized something horrible. Oh no, wait, never mind. You know when you click on someone's like channel, do you see like the past VODs? For a second, I thought they started putting. I thought they started putting ads before you could see the VODs. I was like, that is low. Then I realized, oh, it's for someone else's stream. You know, like that. While offline, check this person. See, I dropped you a follow. What were we talking about? Yeah. Oh, maybe I'll see a full model one day if I catch you live. Again, it's all just practice and a really short, a way to fast track it is very simply ask someone. You know, you can ask me. I don't mind helping because the best way to reinforce what you know is to help others or teach others. So yeah, it's a two-way street. And a lot of the times, right? Um, I won't like sit and like have like a class and a tutorial and blah blah blah, right? I don't do that, but usually someone is like, "Oh, how do I do this thing?" I either A send like the proper resource, like "Oh, this is a good guide on how to accomplish that in 5 minutes. This is how you learn." Or for example, "Oh, you did this thing and it's a bit janky. Oh, swap these two deformers, problem solved." It's very basic things like that, and it helps everyone. Like it's no trouble to me and means the world to people receiving the help. So why not? I usually stream from hips up. Most people don't realize my model has legs. Oh yeah, to the point where some people, to like save on costs, they basically go, I don't need the lower half of the body, only waist up, and then they get a bit of a discount. Because like I'm never gonna use the legs anyway. I don't need them. Ooh, but yeah, I'll check. This easily fixed in Live 2D, as well as here. I think this part is like a bit chunkier. So yeah, also an easy fix, not to worry. For example, deforming things like that is actually easier in Live 2D. So yeah, I don't I sometimes just don't fix things in the art stage because it's easier to fix them while rigging. I think most of my jank is from the clothing that I'm using, because if the clothes were more to the profile picture, just adjust the physics on the neck. Physics on the neck. What physics goes on the neck? I'm curious to see that. I think I had one where like the head it kind of wiggles a bit. Does this one have it? No, this one doesn't. I had one before where like the head will bobble a little. Yeah, I can't wait to see it. Although I am my voice is giving out. RIP to, sorry, in loving memory of the times I used to stream like 6 hours. I don't think I need to work up my vocal stamina again. I think it's the weather. The air here is super dry. So yeah, talking is hard. I should get a humidifier. Clothes have a high neckline, so it's bound there too, so it's weird. Oh, you know, you know what? Yeah, I'll pop into your stream one day and I'll take a look. Maybe I'll check the VODs. Yeah, then I'll get a really good understanding. You need a lot of water. I've been drinking water this whole time. I have finished 2 liters already. I really have to pee. So yeah. If I wasn't ending soon, I would have just taken a break or even more. I'm constantly drinking water. Like some, you'll see. Okay, if you see my model do this, head to the side, tilted upwards, it means I'm taking a sip of water. You just pay attention next time, and then you can count how many sips I take. I'll take one just now because the way the model tracks it. Yeah, this, when I'm looking to the side and up, yeah, that's what happens. But anyway, thanks for stopping by, everyone. Hope you had a great time. I know I did. Uh, Maybe I'll finish this model off stream. And yeah, or maybe I'll just keep it as one of those things we do while live. Unless hot check, you're very interested in getting it as soon as possible, because then I can try speeding up the process. Up to you. I wonder if hot check is still here. Because sometimes I do work kind of casually, but like if I need to really speed it up, I can. Anyway, we have the timer going, but I think I'll just hit the rate now button. Anyway, thanks again, everyone, for stopping by. I'll see you around, and yeah. If my voice recovers, I will stream tomorrow. But right now, it's feeling kind of sore. I'll see. Usually, if I cancel the streams, I set out a ping like on the Discord, like the live ping announcements. So make sure to grab that role if you want to be informed of cancellations or going live. So yeah. Anyway, have a great evening. Thank you. Bye bye. Good night or good morning wherever you are. See ya.